Welcome to Strongest Style, a pro wrestling podcast. I am your host, the living legend, Logan Hurston. I'm of course joined by my co-host, the gimmick killer, Cooper Prater.
It pains me that I did not actually take the time to think of a bit to do. I was thinking about doing something about like that this edition of Strongest Style is brought to you by the power of AI, Antonio Inoki, but I don't know. It seemed a little hack, much like the actual AI, Antonio Inoki.
There we go. Speaking of AI, Antonio Inoki, an AI lover himself, he is a giant. Standing at a whopping Godzilla
He's not
height.
a shit guy anymore.
He is not guy anymore. And he has the greatest combination.
Did y'all go and fact check me on that after I talked about it?
No, I just took it for the. I started seeing.
You gotta go watch the interview.
I started seeing Twitter tweet about it, so I'm like, it must be true. Yeah,
I didn't make it up.
The greatest combination of last names in wrestling history. The Strongest Style World Heavyweight Champion, Mr. Jack Rhodes Dudley.
Anyways, quick spoiler alert for later on in the show. It was actually that good.
He's gonna be on a heater for like the next month because there was actually a good G1 final, brother.
I just gotta let him roll. I just gotta let him go. He'll tire himself out eventually.
Remember, he will say the G1 final is good every year. Evil versus Takeshita, good.
This year,
Evil versus Takeshita was actually really good.
That one was actually really good. Naito versus Okada G133 was all right. Takeshita versus Evil was actually really good. But we don't have to talk about that. That's not the year we're in 2026.
Is it a new era, Jack? Is it finally a new era?
I've heard people saying that not only is it a new era for New Japan, I think it might be a new era, Cooper, for all of professional wrestling.
That's what Twitter's saying.
Wow.
Ah, yes.
I think we might be entering into a new artistic movement in professional wrestling.
This will literally change. I want to let you know this. For everyone who's tweeting this on Twitter and hoping for this, nothing ever happens. You will not see. You definitely won't see anything change.
Would you look at the time?
Would you look at the time? Nothing ever happens. Let me tell you, when you look at the Fed, ain't nothing changing there. Ain't nothing changing AEW's house to styles. There aren't enough wrestlers on it. There will be 2 or 3 wrestlers on the indies that might change, and that will be it. Maybe we'll get a change to Japan, but I doubt it. You know, even Oiwa's like,
it's gonna change. It's changing the state. It's changing the globe.
Oiwa's like, bro, I could only work that match against Yuya. Like, you'll never see that match with anybody else except for like Zach. Hilarious. But I do love. I like the optimism, guys. But come on now. Nothing ever happens. But yeah, the biggest news of the week, though, you didn't even mention it, Jack, is that Jeff Cobb's back. The Imperial unit.
We'll get to. Is this part of the news segment? Are we in the news segment?
No. We'll save it.
I know. I was waiting to call out.
Okay.
Our host for being presumptuous.
Yes, I like Jeff, but I really do. I want to wait for my time because I think my time is going to take up a lot of time.
Well, I just wanted to say because I'm wearing the Jeff Cobb T-shirt. That's
wearing the
day one.
You were so excited about this T-shirt. Oh my god, I've never seen you so excited about this shirt.
It's a cool T-shirt.
You've seen me wear it though a bunch of times in person. You can starkly say I was a day one.
I know, but I've never heard you mention it this much.
Logan has so.
I haven't worn it so long. I was like, oh my god, I can wear my Jeff Cobb T-shirt again. Like I couldn't wear it before, but it's just like now it's topical.
Mm-hmm. Most of like your indie guys don't normally have a reason to like wear it. Like you're never gonna have like a Tony Deppen debut in AEW where you're like, look, I'm wearing my Tony Deppen shirt.
My Violence is Forever shirt that's like a size too small for me. I'll never be able to wear it.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah. Mike Jeff Cobb, man, is awesome. That's what we're waiting for. I'm gonna tweet out the picture of me wearing this shirt on the Strongest Style Twitter. By the way, I'm just letting you know that. Day one, Jeff Cobb.
Go ahead. I hope that's our accidental banger, the one that goes off. It'd be better than the AI squabble that we got into a couple of weeks ago.
I'm gonna tweet it out, which is funny because it's like the most likes we've ever gotten. I'm gonna tweet out me in the shirt and the quote retweet the Jeff Cobb thing, and then I'm gonna say this return was promised to me 3,000 years ago. See what the people think. But yeah, the news. The newsman has gotten the news dog out and sniffed all the news he could news this week.
We sure did, and you know what?
The newsman.
Yeah,
he's a newsman. The newsmoid, Cooper Prater.
I'm a newsman for a news era, I'll tell you. Yeah, so me and the news hound, we got up to sniffing again this weekend. The news hound did in fact vomit on my shoes after sniffing up this first little bit of news because it was the even more rancid leftovers from last week's news segment. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, roll up the title card once again. It is Look at My American Independent Wrestling. Brothers, we gotta let go of this produce thing.
Don't worry. We're getting 1,000 Ryohei.
It's gotta get worse. It gets worse before it gets better.
We're gonna get so many Oiwas and Yuya Uemura stands in our indie wrestling next, Cooper. That's what's gonna happen. Don't worry.
Yeah, they'll say that.
It is actually gonna happen.
They'll say that, and then they'll pop for a fucking Effie spot. So I don't know about that. But anyways, yes, as previously mentioned last week on Strongest Style, produce owner, I guess, promoter, Orange Crush, a fella who has an ambiguous to say the least job history in the sport of professional wrestling. Real name Adam Abdallah. Well, last week he was accused of being a just real general asshole by one Joseph Janela. And, you know, that's one thing, that particular story, and it's not great, and, you know, but it's stuff that we kind of already gathered about the guy, given his past, you know, inability to fucking log off, and, you know, just make absolutely unhinged Twitter tirades, for the littlest of reasons. But, you know, a promoter is kind of a shithead interpersonally with the people that he works with, especially in American independent wrestling. You know, the fork is found in the kitchen, and I can't really, you know, say too much about it other than that. It's just indicative of larger systemic problems with, you know, the American independents and the lack of oversight within them. But... however, things have, in fact, gotten worse for Mr. Abdallah, and, you know, at least in terms of his reputation, because on Friday afternoon, Joey Janela posted yet another statement accusing Adam Abdallah of more predatory behavior. I am referencing the article that was written up about this by Fightful, if people want to go and look at that. It has kind of all of the relevant tweets and context that this story had over the past week. So actually all of this, to my knowledge, kind of started out from somebody entirely, not Joey or Adam, but rather some person who I am entirely unfamiliar with, but I guess is like a pretty like regular attendee of a lot of like, you know, indie like GCW events, and I guess was maybe at some of the produce shows too, and stuff like that. I don't know that this person has any like, well, I don't know anything about this person. On Twitter they're called Fawn Michaels, and so they posted a 15-minute long video in which they called Abdallah unsafe and predatory, and pretty directly accused him of sexual assault, harassment, and grooming. And Fawn Michaels also then shared text exchanges between them and Abdallah that certainly did not look good. I will tell you that. Did not seem to, it lined up, I will say, with the general impression of Mr. Abdallah that we have gotten over the past couple of weeks. And so then Joey Janela made his statement saying, "There is no plot nor collusion with former acquaintances to get Adam Abdallah (parentheses Orange Crush) out of here. 6 women," and he then repeats in all capitals, 6 women hit me up in the last 2 weeks with stories of predatory behavior, sexual abuse, etc. From booking female talent (parentheses that he never talked to in his life), and in the same sentence asking them to get drinks with him, to talent accepting that offer and getting lured back to his apartment and propositioned group sex with him and girlfriends, to meeting and paying wrestling fans money to have sex with them. These women do not want their names out there because they don't want something like this to follow their careers. Fawn was willing to speak and tell her story to help stop a clear pattern. For me, to use sexual assault, misconduct, and abuse as a way to snake someone out of the business politically over a wrestling beef would be absolutely disgusting, and if I wanted to get him, quote, canceled, unquote, I would have posted the screenshot of him calling me the F-slur last week, but it was more than that. It was to hold someone accountable for vile behavior in a business where young people get in this to live their dreams, but have to deal with advances and worse from someone with power, money, and clout. All capitals, fuck you if you don't believe me. It's always get the bad people out of here. Abdallah had responded to Janela and Fawn Michaels' allegations towards him, saying that this has veered into criminal defamation. He says. He says that they never asked him a question about any of these alleged damning incidents, and all the time that they were traveling together and in the same places for the last 7 years, and that this has seemingly come about all of a sudden, and that the language that he uses is hypothetical and describes things that he did not do, placing them next to things that aren't an issue without context, he says. So, yeah, not very good, and I think it's pretty safe to say that we will not be covering the next couple of produce shows.
I actually hadn't heard about that.
Yeah.
That's not even funny bad like the last week's thing.
No,
we will no longer be going to a produce affiliated show. Me and Jack, I want to put that out there.
Fuck,
hopefully,
man.
produce can take their name off it and it just become an action wrestling thing. That'd be kind of cool.
Okay, so produce will seemingly be continuing with their scheduled events. However, Abdallah did mention in a post later today that he will be handing produce over to steadier hands. He claimed.
What does that mean? I thought that he was the kind of funder of the entire operation.
I believe he was, but he is no longer. I think he is probably not going to be.
Okay.
So, but
Well, there you go. All right. We'll see what happens.
Yes, it remains to be seen how the promotion will react to this. I mean, so being so early in their lifespan and dealing with, you know, their founder being a fucking creep amongst creeps. You know, nothing's impossible in the world of pro wrestling. Ring of Honor's founder was a literal pedophile, and, you know, they went on to have a quite successful career as a promotion. But, of course, obviously, first and foremost, I would like to say that the important thing here is that Adam Abdallah stays the fuck out of professional wrestling for the rest of the foreseeable future, and that all of the people who he has hurt, including Miss Fawn Michaels and the other 6 unnamed women that seemingly spoke to Joey Janela, and everybody that has seemingly been a victim in the path of somebody who seems to have a incredibly overinflated sense of their importance to wrestling. That I hope that all of those people get some form of justice and restitution and consolation for all of the shit that they've had to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, agreed on all counts.
I'm just...
It sucks.
there's 2 things in life where I think me deciding that I did not want to spend money or wanted to save money might have saved my ass, per se. One is waiting to collect those Kanye West records, and 2 is buying the produce, or the Orange Crush, picture book he did from GCW in Japan. I was like, oh, that'd be a cool coffee table book. Thank God I did not buy that. Thank you, conscious Logan. But yeah, just hilarious. They say sped run the indie cycle, bro. This is
he
did
really
the game Sapolsky.
He did the Sapolsky, he did the Feinstein, he did literally all of it in less than 2 months. Good riddance to bad trash, I say. And I mean, really, just
speaking of bad trash,
what is important here is that people are safe and protected in independent wrestling. Yeah. But yes, it does not, in fact, end the cycle of bad people being involved in independent wrestling for this week, because Joey Janela put out that statement railing against
I think I heard,
Mr. Abdallah from Produce, which, good. He I think was right to do that. However, it is interesting to me that he makes that statement while at the same time being on the last GCW show. I forget whatever the subtitle was, in which former WWE referee Drake Younger made his return to.
Oh my God!
I guess. Well, I don't even know if he had been in GCW before. I don't think GCW really started by the time that he was already not an active wrestler, but makes his return to independent wrestling after a long stint, mostly being concerned with interrupting local school board meetings to talk about how masking children during the height of the COVID pandemic, when thousands of people were fucking dying from an infectious disease that did not yet have any conceivable vaccine or cure to it. He made a big stink about how the masking process for that was providing cover for sex trafficking. And he also, I believe, at one point walked out of a WWE talent meeting in which Triple H mentioned the diversity within WWE and how that is a good thing, that they welcome people of all races and religions and everything. Drake Younger did not seem to like that and and proceeded to walk out of that meeting. Drake Younger is an honest to God fucking lunatic in a way that they don't really make in wrestling so much these days.
Yeah.
And he did. I do want to say this. He did after his return get on the mic and cut a promo in the ring, in which he essentially said that during the time when he did all of that stuff and said all of the things that he said, that it was a result of him being in a bubble, and that he apologizes to people who he hurt and offended with his words and actions. Interestingly, he did not seem to say that he currently does not believe those things anymore. But I guess that is perhaps asking too much. But no, Drake Younger, nobody's favorite CZW alumni, is now back in independent wrestling and seemingly being welcomed with open arms by Game Changer Wrestling. Also on this show was Bear Bronson and the Nomi Gabby Forza, so I look forward to them blocking everybody on Twitter for the next couple of hours in regards to this. So it's bad all the way down, folks. And in an ideal world, maybe wrestling as a whole just shouldn't exist. But particularly the American independent wrestling should not exist. It is a haven for scum and villainy, the likes of which we have not seen since the Republican Party. So
one thing I will say is, and this is about the Bear Bronson thing, is like, if you're gonna try to be above everyone with morals, be careful who you work with, because again, it's like you say that and then you immediately it's like, well, I can't book the show. It's like, if you're gonna stand with your morals, you should just not work for GCW. Books this guy, or you should say, now I'm not gonna work for GCW. Or they book this guy.
If he wants to say, if he wants to say that he's not gonna take those bookings that Drake Younger is on, then whatever, more power to him. I don't think he's gonna make that statement.
He's not. Brother works for TNA. What are we talking about?
I can't believe this, dude. I hate stuff like this. I hate the bullshit shock value stuff. I mean, it's so corny. And GCW.
And that's the other thing too. Who gives a fuck about Drake Younger?
I know, literally nobody. They aren't doing it because Drake was a big name. They're doing it because of the reason we're fucking talking about it.
We're giving them what they want.
It's bullshit, yeah. And he belongs in GCW because GCW sucks.
That's goddamn right. Yeah. God, yeah. They've been awful for a long time. But, like, Drake Younger is not, like... He was never good. I've watched his old CZW deathmatch shit. He's not... This is not a Necro Butcher situation.
Yeah.
Where, like, the work was genuinely, like, great, and even if the guy is shit. Like, and this isn't... He wasn't even, early, like, baby John Moxley good, either. He was always just a guy, and, like, whatever. I do not think that he is moving any tickets to GCW events. In fact, if anything, I imagine he's probably going to actively turn away a lot of people who would otherwise probably, put down money to go to GCW events near them. But I don't know. What do I know, I guess?
Yeah. Hilarious. Moving on. Do we want to start with some AE dub?
Well, moving on.
We have more news. Oh yeah, I forgot.
Not necessarily news.
The news hound was on. Yeah.
No.
No news.
I know what you're gonna say,
Yes.
Cooper. I'm sorry. I hate women apparently.
Yes. Brother, you're not telling me anything I don't
we've
already
heard it all
know.
before.
Come on. Come on.
I mean, if you're gonna just admit it out to the world like that,
It's not true. I want to declare,
ladies,
for the
gentlemen,
record,
non-binary friends of Strongest Style, I would like to tell
We're
you.
gonna be at the We're gonna be at Atlanta, Georgia. I'm gonna be closely monitoring how many female directors Logan picks up.
I'm going to. I'm the one who pitched to watch the female director's movie. What are you talking about? We're watching the lesbian horror movies. My pick.
Yeah.
It seems like he's trying to prove something.
Jack, name 5 female directors.
Logan wants
right
to see the
now.
lesbian horror movie in a bad
bad way. Is that what you're gonna say?
Sick pervert.
In an evil way. Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
Uh,
No. Ladies and gentlemen, non-binary friends of Strongest Style, I would like to tell you all that when Logan Hurston announced that the upcoming episodes of Strongest Style would focus primarily on the women's wrestling from around the world, that he was fucking lying, but that the gimmick killer, Cooper Prater, am true to my word, and when I tell you that I both love and respect women broadly, but women's professional wrestling most of all. And I did my due diligence this week, and I watched the final 2 matches from Marvelous. That's Women's Pro Wrestling. Their big Korakuen Hall show from earlier in the month. And boy howdy, this was some good shit. I got to tell you guys about it.
Nice.
So I did not watch the full show. I will get around to the other interesting looking matches on that card. But the 2 that really stood out to me just from first glance that I needed to watch were the last 2, and it was up first in order was Takumi Iroha, who we've not talked about a lot on the show. I've mostly talked about in relation to her being one half of the Spark Rush tag team with the Sun God herself, Suri. But Takumi Iroha has been the fucking top of the top in Marvelous for quite a while. For coming up now on, I guess, 15 years maybe. Because her run started properly in the early 2000s, but so she's great. She's been great for a long time. She's been on DPW shows in the US a little bit, and they have the relationship with West Coast Pro Wrestling too, but and so she went up against fan favorite here on Strongest Style, everybody's favorite at the moment, big Senka Akatsuki. And they did something interesting. I want to clarify. The match was great. I like the match. You should go watch the match. It's not a match of the year for me. And I will tell you why. Is because, particularly of the finish. And I understand the story that they tell here, because it's the same story that they tell in every Senka match, which is that, or every Senka match where she's paired up with a veteran, which is that you're not there yet, and it's not your time. I'm going to beat the living shit out of you, and if you can still breathe by the end of it, then congratulations. You have earned begrudgingly my respect. And that is very much how Takumi was kind of treating Senka in this match, just absolutely launching into her with some disgusting looking strikes. There's one like spinning back kick that she does to Senka's stomach that like made like me keel over. It was really tough. And Senka, does what she always does and put up a really gritty, like, fiery performance, trying to hit back in spots, but mostly just trying to survive the onslaught. And she gets a few good hits in, mostly when it's her time to kind of grapple with it. One critique I have of Senka's work overall, her strikes still don't look very good yet. I think that part of that is maybe just a presentation issue because she is still very much presented as a rookie. But like, I don't know. I feel like she can sharpen that up, and it would benefit her in the long run. I do like her ground game a lot. I think that is, the shoot pin and all that. But but she, there are times in here where she can kind of stuff Takumi's strikes with a good kind of like ground game. But basically the finish of this match is a ref stoppage, because Senka cannot get back on her feet by the ref's count of 10. And I understand it, and I get where they're, I guess, coming from with it, and like, but I just, for me, would like to see more direct growth from Senka. And I'm not saying that she needed to win the match. I think that is not what they should have done. Takumi should have won. But I think that particular, the ref stoppage gives like still I feel like we're kind of still stuck in, early 2025 with it, with her, whereas I feel like, for the level that of star that she seems to be in, indie Joshi circles, she was the semi-main on the card. Like, I feel like you should be taking her a little bit more seriously, and to me, even just having a direct, pinfall loss, or like a knockout in a submission, like something like that, indicates to me more kind of trust in her, or views her as more of a equal to these veterans that she's taking on. That's just my opinion. I understand, though, how people might feel differently. I'll tell you what, though. What is a certified Cooper Prater match of the goddamn year is the main event of this show. The Sun God, the other half of Spark Rush, Sari, versus Mio Momono. Now, Mio Momono is a name that I've heard for quite a long time. She is one half of the Momo Bobo Banana tag team with some other person whose name escapes me at the minute. I know that they're a big deal, like in Sendai Girls, and I think I might have seen like one of those tag matches, but if so, I forget. The only other singles Mio Momono match that I've watched was one against Johnny Robbie from the this year's West Coast and Marvelous team up show in Vegas, and I really loved that match. I thought that was also a match of the year, probably. But I like the fire that she shows. I think she has that kind of like snap to her offense that I like. And she's a great face too. She gets the crowd on her side in a big, huge way. But this match with Sari was so fucking cool. They just fucking hate each other. And it was so great. There is 2 moments where both of them they swap turns. So it's in Korakuen Hall, right? And
Yeah.
they pretty quickly take things to the outside and kind of brawl amongst the crowd in the way that a lot of the great, kind of heated Korakuen matches do. And, so they, Momino throws Suri into, the first little, row of chairs over there. And everybody kind of, scurries away and all that. And Mio Momino, who, once again, I want to say, a great, big, shiny, smiling baby face most of the time, grabs I felt like, I don't know, 5 chairs back to back to back and fucking launched them into Suri with such speed and precision that I was really taken aback. I was like, holy shit. They needed, God, could they maybe lighten up a little bit? But Suri gets right back up, and that it just pisses her off more, and she goes back and she's fucking smacking her right in the face. They go up to the second level of it, and there's the vomitorium that people come in and out of, and Momino gets up on top of it. She's gonna dive off of it onto Suri and a bunch of the trainees down below. But the problem is that Suri and the trainees are just a hair too far away, and so Momino jumps, but she kind of eats shit a little bit. She lands. She does land on Suri, but on her knees. Ooh. And Suri does fucking no-sells that shit. She's like, fuck you, you loser. And she starts kicking her in the stomach. And fucking, she goes and walks her back down the stairs, lays her out over the stairs, and fucking steps right on her neck. And stands over her. It's you idiot. You thought that you could fucking dive off of a archway onto me. And then Suri goes out. She fucking launches chairs at her. She is throwing elbows and knees and all kinds of shit at her. They get in the ring finally, and Momino is hitting this huge fiery comeback spot, and she does just back to back to back jumping double stomps right onto Suri's stomach. And each one, she's sticking it really, and yeah, man. I mean, Christ, that's the good shit. That's the shit that people should be fucking going on Twitter and saying that this is going to change the landscape of professional wrestling instead of that fucking grip match, which I won't get to. But no, this is the shit. I want it to feel like you fucking hate the person across the ring from you, and you want to, beat them within an inch of their goddamn life. And God, yeah, Suri is so good in it. Momino is so good in it. Go out. It was my favorite thing that I've watched this entire week, and I just had to get it off my chest. Go and watch, at the very least, those 2 matches from Marvelous's Korakuen show. If you need, I will tell you where to go. So.
He'll give you his login.
My official login for Wrestle Universe. Yes.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Hold on. Mm-hmm. Hold on now. Official login.
Yeah. The official login for the official account that I have.
Yeah, wait a minute.
I pay money to go
use my login.
Universe. I don't fucking use your login. No.
I gave it to you.
Not watching it with your login.
Dak,
I use your login.
Did you watch the night of
Logan, I'm doing a bit.
Not yet, no. But I will. I might well watch it tomorrow.
He hates Naito.
I might have a lot more time on my hands to watch wrestling because my wife is about to start an internship that she has in Columbus and will be waking me up at like 6 o'clock every day. So the G1 schedule for me is actually going to last the entire.
Guess what, brother? The in-one is just around the corner.
No.
Yes.
No.
Actually,
fuck no.
Women's
man.
Month is on hold. The in-one has to get over.
That's right. We got 9 Chen matches to review
You have
in
to
their
watch
entirety.
every
Oh my
Chin.
God.
Jack, it's gonna be you should do title versus Chin match for Cooper at All In. If Cooper loses, to watch every Chin in one match. If he can't finish the story,
Oh my god.
we will be reviewing those. Don't worry, guys. I promise. And you know me, I always keep my
God.
promises. I've never broken a
Daily
promise on this
in one
podcast.
audio from Strongest Style.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna break down after every show. Wake up at 6 a.m. Boys, what a night of N1 action.
Are you an Emerald Arc freak?
You joke, but maybe I'll do that as a bit. You know, maybe I'll watch the N1 smorgasbord.
Hell of a bit to watch the entire N1. I
mean, it's easier than watching the G1.
No, it's not.
Only Logan Henson. I would even say that it's easier than watching the G1.
You know, sometimes.
It's the same thing, but worse.
What are you talking about? We have Chin, bro. We're good on Oiwa.
We're good.
We're good. We're good, LeBron. We have Ben Simmons now. All right. AEW?
Yeah, why not?
Go for it.
No Chin in AEW, so I don't watch, you know.
Unfortunately,
Unfortunately. No Chin. No Mr. Pain in the ass. You know.
Yeah, Tiny
you know.
Khan doesn't want to, shill out the big bucks for the real stars of professional wrestling.
Where's
that can be
Mr.
found
Smack
at the Arc.
Daddy?
I'm always asking, where's Mr. Smack Daddy? But, yes, so your edition of AEW Dynamite from last week came to you from the, what's this called? The Palms in Las Vegas, Nevada, which was strange for me because I know the Palms in Las Vegas, Nevada as being the place that the, shit WrestleMania weekend shows hold their Las Vegas shows in. Not my beloved dub. So I don't. This was a weird one. I think from the venue and from the crowd, Las Vegas in general, I don't think is like a great wrestling town anymore, if it ever was. But AEW does have a history there, and so I understand wanting to reward them with something during the course of the year. But as a result, this particular Dynamite, just felt, I think, a little off, especially in comparison to how electric Detroit was, and Arena Mexico last week. You can't really top either of those, I think. So, but yes, so opening this edition of Dynamite, we had one William Charles Ospreay coming up to talk to the fans. He talks to them about his street fight in Arena Mexico. He knows that Kenny Omega was watching and wondering if Ospreay could pull that trigger, but by the end, that he knows that he will. And then he calls out Omega because he knows that he was here on this particular night. But Kenny does not come out. I'll tell you who does come out is that rat bastard Don Callis.
Yep.
We get the brown note introduction, and he walks out. He says that he watched the birth of AEW in Las Vegas. He saw his opportunity to exploit it, which he did by aligning with Kenny Omega. And And then after Omega, he moved on to Ospreay, and everything that Ospreay has, he owes to Don Callis. And if he thinks that he, is gonna do it on his own, if he's gonna reach, the pinnacle at Wembley, that his road will be paved in blood. Your blood, brother, he says. And then the rest of the Don Callis family, Mark Davis, Jake Doyle, Rocky Romero, Trent Beretta, all the big stars of the Don Callis family. They rush Ospreay and put the beats on him, and then afterwards, the music hits. He hears the battle cry. It is Kenny Omega with a metal pipe, and he stands at the top of the ramp for a little bit. He orifarms a little, and waits until the beat drop to run in and save Will, which is honestly really based of him, and I do appreciate it. But so he fights off the rest of the Don Callis family, and afterwards, Will is lying there on the ground. He goes over to him, and he kind of pulls his hand with the pipe back, like he's about to swing on him again. But instead, he puts it down, and he gets down in a squat, and he starts talking to Will. In what was a pretty confusing promo, I'm not gonna lie, talking about how whatever, he's like, do you see now, Will, about how I knew you couldn't trust John Moxley, and you can't trust Don Callis and all that sort of thing. But I don't know, man. I feel like they're overcomplicating this whole thing, really. He says that he can't help him like this again, and from here on in, it's just going to be the two of them. Will says that he appreciates the help, but he didn't ask for it, and they leave it off there. It was a really, I think, confusing opening segment. I didn't really need any of it, to be quite honest with you. And I get that you can't have Ospreay take the heel role going into this match, but man, I don't know that you need Kenny to either.
Yeah.
I think you can do face versus face. I think it's totally fine. And contriving, reasons for the crowd to, I don't know, be apprehensive about Kenny going into it, it comes across as contrived, and I don't buy it. I don't buy that he, whatever, is this like sinister force that's like, trying to get a more dangerous version of Will Ospreay out of him, or whatever his motive. I don't even really know what the fucking motivation is. I don't know that he wants him to be more dangerous, if he wants him to just be his own man and not rely on the Death Riders, which, like, it's clear that he's not relying on the Death Riders at this point. I don't know. I feel like, yeah, we've just kind of muddled this build to the main event of all. I mean, once again, I'm going to be there. It's going to be a good match, I'm sure. And, I'm going to be surrounded by fucking, 10 million people with bad orthodontic hygiene. But, and they're all going to be, whatever, cheering their little tea and crumpets off for William Ospreay. But I don't know, man. I feel like you could get here way easier. So that's kind of my wrap up thoughts on the opening segment. Then the first match on the card. Logan, I'm sorry. Do you have any thoughts on the build to this All-In match?
I mean, I feel like you explained it pretty well. There's not much I can add. Just, what are we doing, man? Is the best thing. I don't know. I guess I never understand why there has to be, like, especially because, like, the whole point of this title reign, for Kenny at least, was like, I'm going to do it right. I'm going to do it and then you're having him lean super heel, which is the main thing we got in the first title reign. I think it'd be interesting if there was like certain like it's both of them are kind of gray, but which I guess they're kind of trying to do, but they're doing it terribly.
They're laying on the heel stuff with Kenny too thick for that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And so it's like, I don't know. I think it could be interesting as like, this is my final chance in the sun, or like have them lay it on in the match and then do something like Piper Brett, near the end where Brett chooses,
sure.
That would be a better story than like this whole like antagonizing Will. Because it also just doesn't make sense because the last time they fought, Will won, and so it's just, I don't know. And I think on top of that, like, I'm sure the UK crowd's going to be hot for it, But I think a lot of people have soured on Ospreay, and a lot of people who have soured on Ospreay are like Kenny fans, so it's just, it comes to a point.
Which is funny because they're the same kind of person.
Yeah, right? Ultimately, yes. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, the match is going to be great. Probably. I don't know. It'll be up there.
I hope so. It better be.
Cooper will be there. Cooper will curse Tony Khan if this match is terrible and the All In is terrible.
Yeah. Speaking of All In, earlier on that show, there's going to be one of these casino gauntlets that they like to do. Now, we already know who the number one entrant in that casino gauntlet is going to be. It's, of course, Andrade El Idolo. He won that spot in Arena Mexico last week. But we had a three-way match on Dynamite to determine the number two spot, which if you're not going to be number one in that match, you want to be number two. Because those two have the best chances of winning. And in this one, it was Speedball Mike Bailey. He's insane, or he's about to go insane. My bad. I'm a fake fan. He's Nick Wayne.
How long has he been? He's been about to go insane for so fucking long at this point.
He will
at least 3 years.
He will never go insane, Jack.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And Maxwell Jacob Friedman, of course, coming off of his big return last week in Mexico. Now, he comes out with the Triple B, does Max. He's still running this one true champion gimmick. I thought this match was pretty fun. There's a big segment in here where this is probably my favorite stuff, where Max is like trying to teach Nick Wayne how to cheat or how to beat up Speedball Mike Bailey. Because like Max holds Speedball's arms behind his back and like tells Nick like, yeah, go ahead, like get a shot in on the stomach, and Nick does it, and then afterwards he's like, okay, now do one of those like cool flips that you do a cool move for it, and Nick whatever moonsaults onto Bailey, and Max is like raising up Nick's hand, and then he fucking goes to roll him up or something, or no, Nick goes to pin Bailey, Max goes to pin Bailey off of Nick's move. Nick pulls Max off of Bailey and then like starts giving him the business, going like, hey, like you told me to do the move for him, and he like starts whatever trying to mog at MJF, but it was really funny, just the little interactions that they had there. Wayne rolls out of an MJF powerbomb attempt and then hits Max with the same gut punch that he taught him earlier in the match as well. And so Max kind of keels over a little bit. Then Bailey goes up and then hits Ultimate Weapon. MJF throws him out of the ring, though, and then puts the Salt of the Earth onto Nick Wayne for a tap-out win, securing his number 2 spot in the Casino Gauntlet at All In. He then, of course, because he can't help himself, he grabs the mic and cuts a promo about how the champ always wins. And he says that Andrade, because Andrade's music starts playing, he doesn't come out, though. And he asks the crowd, how you know he ain't here? And says that Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay are scared of him, and they need to pray that they don't face the devil. So yeah, I'm still not quite sure how, whatever this one true champion thing is going to play out with Max. I mean, it seems pretty clear that they're setting up what they wanted to set up with CM Punk when he did the same gimmick, which is, he goes on to face the actual world champion, presumably after All In, and we can finally put whatever that little dispute to rest. How they get there, though, I think it's still just too early to tell with it. And, this one where he's not interacting with either Kenny or Will or Andrade even, and continuing that part of the feud, there's nothing really for me to go off of for it. So we got the Divine Dominion who have invaded the Brawling Birds bar that they're always drinking at. They're always having those points, a couple of points with the lasses, and the Brawling Birds basically call them a bunch of stupid British stereotypes. They call them, whatever, alcoholics. They spend all their day in this bar drinking and fighting, and they smash their glasses on the ground beneath them. So they are pretty confident, those Divine Dominions. We got a Mick Foley and the Bang Bang Gang interview that I'm going to skip because it sucked. And then we got the first round match in this Continental Challenge Cup, or the C3, as corporate America would like you to call it, between Jack's two favorite guys. Finally, the hype, the
true,
God,
brother.
man, this is the blow off match.
Oh,
this is the
God.
This is the.
I was about to say I didn't hear about this. Logan fucking did DM me this.
Years in the making, Jack. Years.
The lore. In your beloved New Japan Pro Wrestling, this feud was born, and in my beloved dub, it rots. Its festering corpse has gotten into my water supply. Yeah, exactly. But I'm of course talking about Switchblade Jay White and David Finlay.
Why is Jay wearing his trunks like they're like sweats outside of his boots?
God knows.
And he looks like a dumbass.
God knows.
Like a total fucking moron.
He's trying to.
He looks like he woke up and is wrestling in his.
This is what you call.
They are pajamas.
These are the house show pants for when he's feuding with jobbers like David Finlay, I guess. When he wrestles someone like John Moxley, he'll put on the big boy pants. If he does do that, I'm gonna laugh my tail off, dude.
Oh my god, bro.
Yeah. Brothers, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I forgot every single thing about this match, and I'm not going to read the recap of it.
I enjoyed it. I mean, ultimately, Jay won with the Blade Runner. I mean, I thought the guys did a solid match. It's not anything crazy, but it was good.
I'll say it was better than the
dog collar
match. Yeah, but that's a low bar, so I'm not.
Yeah,
that's
the
not,
bar is in hell, brother. What are we talking about?
Right.
Yeah, it's better than the dog collar match.
Tony Schiavone introduces your new AEW Trios champions, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Brodito and Hangman Page. And fellas, I have a thing about this segment, which is that we need to officially put into motion a bill, which will then go to both houses of Congress and with bicameral approval be voted into law to officially ban any and all professional wrestlers from having any form of internet access. I am talking both social media and just any form of modern technology past the year 1995. I think seems like a good cutoff point. Whatever. Let them make, I guess, hotel bookings and flights and stuff like that. But like anything else, no, not at all, not allowed. Because I will tell you what has sparked this. Hangman Adam Page, in this promo segment, said the words, "Do y'all mind if a white boy speaks a little Espanol?" And fellas, I just didn't like it. I just didn't care about that one bit.
That's not even that bad.
At a certain point, like things like Andrade's shit, like him feeling he has to resort to the goofy catchphrase to get over. Mm-hmm. That's like proof of like the rot in professional wrestling. Something like this is like proof of the rot in our entire existence in society, seeping into pro wrestling. Well, it has nothing to do with it specifically. It's just the world around us is bad.
Cooper, what would you think if instead of Hangman saying that, Ricochet came out and be like, and then the white boy who speaks a little Espanol, what would you think if he used it as a heel tactic?
Also bad.
Well, he's not white.
And yeah, what?
He's not saying it. He's saying it. He's calling Hangman that.
I don't.
Okay.
That's stupid.
That's a straw man argument.
Yeah. But I don't want to hear Hangman Adam Page, former two-time world champion of the company, by the way.
Nah, who cares?
He's not a jobber, not a mid-carder, he doesn't have to do this shit anymore. You know,
this is the way he politics back to the title by using an internet catchphrase.
I'm gonna fucking lose it if this is what happens.
It breaks the stipulation because he's a white boy who can speak a little Espanol. The people just have to have him win the world title, Cooper.
When he goes up to whatever double champ MJF again, and the crowd starts chanting Espanol, Espanol, I'm gonna fucking lose my mind. I don't want to hear him. I don't want to hear Hangman Page talk about how a white boy can speak a little Espanol. I don't want to hear fucking Speedball Mike Bailey talk about the fajitas coming out sizzling. I don't want to hear about what the dog doing. I don't want to hear about whatever.
You know who started this?
At this rate, Brody King's going to do a 6-7, and I'm just like, I don't.
You know who started this? You know, a lot of people want to say the Yeet Man, but in actuality, all this catchphrase modern day, really by serious wrestlers, it all started with a lot of things start in AEW. The American Roller Coaster with, so, what do you want to talk about?
That's not true. That's not true because the roller coaster only really started making that a thing in WWE. He said that like once or twice in AEW, but it was never a thing, and he never laid it on nearly as thick as he did.
But it predates Yeet, and it's
fans didn't. The fans didn't, but the fans didn't catch it like that.
I guess, but I feel like it became a thing on the internet, and then he started using it in WWE. You know,
I mean, I don't want to be an ass. I feel a little lost though because I think catchphrases have been a thing for ever.
That's
and
true.
Ever.
Catchphrases have yes. The problem is not necessarily the catchphrases themselves. I get a catchphrase, whatever. For me though, it is this all-encompassing thing that these new catchphrases are becoming. You understand? Like, it's not just that Andrade says "how you know" sometimes. It's that his fucking song starts with "how you know," and that the fucking he's the Titantron says "how you know," and that he comes out with the "how you know" T-shirt, and it's it's just. It's laying it on so thick.
And the catchphrases before were like, Rob Van Dam. It's a lot of like chanty stuff or stuff that like would make sense. Like even you want to talk about the Road Dogg and stuff like them doing their whole shtick at the start makes sense to price themselves up. I guess you could even say like Jay White shtick makes sense. But how you know is like a thing he said one time that makes no. It's like the. Did I do that?
It doesn't translate. It doesn't translate into any other context.
And it's starting to become like everybody, like the what the dog doing, the yeet. Yeah. The yeet makes no sense. That's why people hated it because it's like, okay, what is this supposed to mean? It means nothing. Okay, why is it supposed to be like this battle cry?
It means he got drunk in a promo one time.
It said yeet.
It said it. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, no, Jack. I'm sorry that we're. I don't know, besmirching the good name of the Bushwhackers or whoever you like that has a good catchphrase. You can, I don't know, defend that all you want. But, yeah, right. Anyways. Swerve came out, though, and basically called the good, the bad, the ugly all dorks that he's beaten. So, and then Ricochet and The Demand come out, and they challenge them to those trios titles again on Collision, which we'll get to later. Then Mercedes Moné attacked your current AEW Women's World Champion Willow Nightingale during a pre-tape with Renee Paquette. And as she whips Willow Nightingale with the Owen Hart Championship, and Willow is writhing in pain underneath her, Mercedes gets down onto the floor with Willow, and she says, "Where's the camera?" And she looks at the camera, and she holds the title up in front of it, and then drops it down onto Willow's face, and she says, "Dumb bitch," as she walks away. So very simple, very short and sweet kind of segment. Oddly enough, I think this did a better job of hyping me up for the women's match at All In than any of the Omega Ospreay pro segments have done for hyping me up for their match. So maybe Omega and Ospreay should just call each other dumb bitches some more. That would do it for me. Then I don't really want to talk about this one all that much. The TNT Championship match, a title defense from the Jet, Kevin Knight, against Don't Call Him Chris Jericho. The Jet won.
Jericho in 2026. Jericho in 2026.
There was a Jericho spot. Yes. Chris sat on Tall Paul's lap over at commentary. Hey, by the way, shout out. I do want to talk about a little bit Tall Paul on commentary for these past couple of weeks. I think he's been pretty good.
I agree too. I think we should do him, Nigel, and Ian on Collision. And Tony, it's been great, brother. Love you.
Yeah.
You're in the Hall of Fame basically already. It's time. Let's go. Let's be like a reporter, just like every once in a blue moon type of thing. But like, it's time.
Get him on those pre-shows with Renee.
Yeah,
perfect.
Perfect. Him, Renee, and Mick. Like, tell me that's not money.
Absolutely.
Or like if you need like a sit down thing, like Renee does at times, they can split the two. But yeah, it's time. It's time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Tall Paul, pretty awesome.
But yeah, we got a quick little Chris Statlander squash match with Viva Van.
Oh, that's who it was.
Everybody's favorite, Viva Van, from New Japan Strong.
That is true.
If you'll remember. So then Mick Foley comes in to talk to Stat about the fact that she will be in a 4-way match for the TBS Championship with Maya World, the defending champion, Hikaru Shida, and Persephone. He basically says that, or Statlander says that while, obviously World deserves the TBS title, she's not so sure about Persephone and Shida. At that point, those two come down and try to menace old Stat Daddy. But then they are interrupted by Thunder Rosa as well, who comes down to Stat's rescue and evens the odds. Interesting. I like Thunder Rosa. I like that they're trying to reintegrate her with the TBS scene. I think that's a good spot for her right now. And she has, the history with Persephone from CMLL, since they're both champions down there as well. I don't know. I'm better on the TBS scene than I was a couple months ago. I think that the women themselves have put in a lot of work to make this picture something a lot more interesting than it was. I think that their work should be rewarded, even though it's probably not going to be, and it's probably going to stay the way that it has been for a little while. But this led into a tag match with Maya World and Thunder Rosa going up against Shida and Persephone. This match I thought was really fun. A lot of cool stuff with Maya in particular. I liked the integration of the little fall-away slam bridge that she does. So the big finishing sequence here was World rolled over Persephone to go for a pin attempt, but rolled through and hit Shida with a stunner. Persephone elbows Maya and holds her up for Shida. Shida goes for the katana, but World moves and Persephone eats it instead. World hits a thrust kick to Shida and then pins her with that aforementioned fall-away slam. So, I imagine they are probably going to set up the grand tradition of the women's TBS title 4-way match at All In with all of these participants. So,
what a tradition!
Good for them. Yes, the grand tradition.
Yeah, I mean, will we ever escape it? I don't know if we ever will.
Probably not. If
what are we at? Year 7 of the grand tradition.
Why would you want to get away from a grand tradition, Logan?
A grand tradition. Get as many women as we can because we will not have them in any other matches tactic.
Yeah. Well, because I guess we need Darby Allin versus Kevin Knight for the TNT belt on that show, which Darby announced right after this. It will be Falls Count Anywhere. I, for one, am very excited for my chance to fuck up a Darby Allin spot as he wanders towards my section. Wembley security, if you see or listen to this, stay out of my way. I'm gonna push that little white boy down. Anyways, and then we get another match announcement. This one quite a bit more exciting for me because I will get to see for the international title Kyle Fletcher versus Konosuke Takeshita versus Kazuchika Okada live in front of my eyes. The Proto Shido Okada triangle explodes in Wembley Stadium in the 3-way for that belt, and I think that is gonna fucking rock. So there's that, and then your main event for this edition of Dynamite in the Continental Challenge Cup first round, your Continental Champion Jon Moxley in a title defense technically up against Jungle Jack Perry, and I thought that this match was pretty good.
Okay, I've been excited all week to hear what you think of this match, Cooper. I'm not gonna lie. I watched it, I saw Twitter's reaction, I'm like, oh god, I have to know. I have to know what Cooper thinks of Jack Perry versus Jon Moxley in the main event. Pretty good, not a match of the year, okay. We haven't drank the sauce yet, is what I'm hearing. We haven't been fully. No. Tony Khan has not gotten into his grubby little fingers into your mind just yet.
Yeah, old Jungle Jack is gonna have to try better than spilling some cranberry juice on his forehead to get me to really start giving a shit about him. I'm sorry. Look. Jon Moxley carried you to your best match? Yeah, probably. I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. Yeah. I will say Mox is great. Mox did like the best job that he possibly could have done here. I liked the part where he yelled at Jungle Jack, "Do you want to be a good boy?" And he started slapping him around a little bit. That was fun, but
freaky as hell.
Yeah. The usual suspects on Twitter and Tumblr and all that, I'm sure are going nuts for that. Basically, I liked the dynamic though of Mox trying to ground down old Jungle Boy with the bulldog choke, and Perry struggling up and trying to roll through and trying just about every possible way he can think of, and he just gets sent right back down. That part of the final stretch, I was like, oh, that's some cool shit actually, and that is on Jack Perry, so I do have to give credit where credit is due, that he put up a really good performance in that sort of last ditch effort sort of thing. I think he's really good at that, but I just struggle with the connective tissue for him, and Mox kind of forces some of that out of people, but it can only go so far, I think. So but yeah, that rounds out Dynamite. And then, fellas, would you permit me a little minute of Collision?
Wow. You got 1 minute.
I'm waiting. Collision minute.
It is on the clock, and
he's going. He's got to stop. Sorry.
I just want to talk about the Continental Challenge Cup match. Only one of them for Collision. I will say the Brian Cage Hechicero one was fun. I liked it. The main event with Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong was too long, but it was good enough. Not as good as their whatever it was Dynasty match from like 2024.
Great match.
Yeah, fantastic. But they are not in the same spot right now. I want to talk to you, and I want to talk to the Strongest Style listeners about Katsuyori Shibata and the one true king of professional wrestling, Nigel McGuinness. And if you had told me, even in 2024, when Nigel made his return in Wembley Stadium, that this would be a match that he has against fucking Shibata, I would not have believed you at all. And I'm going to say something that is going to be hard for me to say. This was not a match of the year. What it was, though, was, I think, really fucking cool. And I have not looked at whatever the selection special thing is, so I don't know what the status is of Nigel McGuinness as of right now. We'll probably get breaking news on that in just a second. I'm sure Logan is looking it up.
Yep.
But if Nigel is genuinely hurt and cannot move forward in the Continental Challenge Cup, I think that is a real, honest to God, fucking tragedy. Because I've liked pretty much every match that he's had on his comeback, with maybe the exception of like some of the Ring of Honor stuff. I think he still just understands pro wrestling at such a deeper and better level than fucking anybody since his generation. Him and Brian, dude, like they were the ones. And when he comes back out to do this stuff, it really is it's such a great reminder for me of like how simple it can be, and how much like joy I can get out of seeing just this little stuff. The way that he uses the ropes and the ring around him as a weapon, as he sets these traps for Shibata constantly in this match, and I thought it was like really cool stuff to see him, and unfortunately I think maybe some of that ended up getting him, because I think whatever the spot that people seem to think is what he maybe got injured on was Shibata PKing Nigel's ankle, which I thought in the moment that he was just maybe selling the impact of it, but maybe not. It turns out he might have actually screwed something up, and man, that's a real bummer, because the story is right there and it's so clear that was the direction, and I hope it is. I don't know, probably not, but I will say the beauty of the Continental Cup that they've established so far is that they have a lot of people that it could be. It does not have to be Nigel, even though it would be fucking really cool if it was. I really loved Eddie Kingston's match from last week. I talked a lot about that. I think he can do that big huge comeback story. I think that if you just want like a good match, you can rerun the Mox and Kyle O'Reilly thing from last year. I'm sure they still have another really good one in them. There's options. There's a lot of options, but it seemed very clear that they were intending for this to be Nigel's moment, and the fact that he might not get that really fucking bums me out. Logan, what is the status of Nigel McGuinness?
Currently, the status is still up in the air. I looked at AEW's YouTube channel. In 6 minutes, they will have the second Continental Cup. They did tweet today. They did tweet today a thing of the graphic of here's the 8 minutes continuing, and had Nigel's name there. So he has been on it. Yes. Fine. I will say, if Katsuyori Shibata versus Nigel McGuinness is the thing that stops Cooper Freighter from seeing Nigel McGuinness wrestle for the Continental Championship in Wembley, that is the greatest monkey's paw in maybe wrestling history. Like,
oh my god!
Like,
yeah.
You get a match. Cost? You get a match. You're like, oh my god, I'd love to see that, and it curls. It just curls on you, and like it wasn't even that crazy of a match either. It's like us seeing the Suzuki.
it was just like a pretty fun, like fine match.
It's like us, the monkey's paw of us going on the 10-hour trip to see Suzuki versus Cope with the worst crowd ever. With the only people who said Kaze Ninare was me, you, and one other guy, But we got to see the match live, and it was a great experience, and it was a great trip. Yeah. Real friendship-defining trip. But God, what a
It
terrible
really was.
Dynamite, bro! Like, what a god awful show. I'm praying that Nigel is healthy because I would be bummed too. Because I guess is Jay White gonna win it? I don't know. Is
Dog.
Eddie is Eddie or Jay White? I feel like it's the only other two options.
It's gotta be Eddie. I mean, and I would
You
love that.
say
I
that.
love Eddie so much. I'll say. I do say that. I'd say it's gotta be fucking Tony Khan can hear me.
In 4 minutes, it will go live. Probably when we're in the middle of New Japan, I'll have it on in the background with captions on, and we will interrupt Jack dead in the middle of him going yes to find out if we can crush Cooper's dreams or not. Cooper, you can't look. This has to be something. We got to get your genuine reaction for the show.
Oh my God!
I'll get the info.
Oh, I'm in so much
status
pain
of
right
Nigel
now.
McGuinness has been revealed. It is
Right.
But yeah, that is your collision minute, and more of maybe the saddest collision minute of all time. Moving on to some elation, Jack.
You know what's not sad?
What's not sad?
What's not sad?
Oh, man. I'm thinking we really, really, really are back in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
This time?
Okay.
Finally?
I think this time we might have to be back for
Really?
real.
Get back to me in a month,
because
Jack.
of Shun Skywalker. No.
Hashtag nothing ever happens.
No. Something fucking happened. It might not last, but I think definitively something happened. I think this. Okay. Let me
Jack.
say
Before
something.
you start,
Yes.
did you watch this in Pensacola when you're with your wife before you watched Swallowland?
Yes. I have been really going crazy for this last little stretch of the G1. I woke up very early to watch the 2 block finals, even though I had work. And then, I woke up very early to watch the semis the day before, like hours before we drove off to Pensacola, or to Mobile. And then, I woke up I woke up at like 7:30 after we were throwing down Dr. Peppers till 2 in the morning on the strip. And I watched the final, and that was my hangover cure. Watching it in the Rhodes family household. So it was. I mean,
Sobered you up right quick.
I mean, it did. Yeah, we can joke about it. I can't promise lasting change, but I truly think, regardless, this was one of those matches that you watch and kind of feel like it was a little bit special in a way that's even different from like the big Wrestle Kingdom semi-main that I love. Maybe in a similar way to like a great retirement match like that Tana Okada match, like people said about that. I mean, I don't want to compare it on the level of something like absolutely fucking just legendary, stood the test of time, like the Omega Okada series that kick-started that boom. But I mean, it did feel like a bit of a changing, a moment of great change, and we'll see if it lasts or not. But I'm talking, of course, for those I'm talking vaguely, but I'm talking about the G1 Climax 36 final between Ryohei Oiwa and Yuya Uemura, which Oiwa won. And I want to start, and I've got so many thoughts about this, but I cannot believe, first off, that Ryohei Oiwa won the fucking tournament. I feel like it's getting lost in like the noise, because a lot of people who don't actually follow New Japan ended up watching the match just because people have been saying it was a great match, which it is. But I feel like because of that, not a lot of discourse has been around the fact that this was a completely out of left field pick to win the tournament.
Yeah, and it was on nobody's, certainly none of our cards.
Yeah. Nuh-uh. Oiwa has been because he is from a slightly younger generation, and because he came back after everyone, he has been positioned up till now as a clear step below Tsuji and Umino and Omura, and if you want to count it, you could also definitely say Gabe Kidd and even Callum Newman. But for whatever reason, I mean, I don't want to get into like speculating about the Shota injury because who knows, and we'll probably never know. But props to them. They really, really, really picked somebody that nobody was betting on, and they were betting on Oiwa's ability to get they believed in him to be able to get red hot during the tournament, which is a tall ask, and by fucking God, it happened. Especially it felt like it only really started to come together in those last 4 matches, or maybe 5, because in the second half of the tournament, because he faced Tsuji and had an amazing match with him, which was around when the headlock thing, I think he'd won with it. He won with it first against Sonata, right, Logan?
Yeah.
He won with it first in the match with Sonata. So here's a big talking point. I need to probably explain myself as I go along. The thing is, Yuya Uemura has always had a very toned down moveset, famous for harkening back to old sort of high flyers, but before high flying got kind of crazy, guys like a Steamboat or a Jimmy Snuka, hope he rots in hell, but still, sort of style. And Oiwa, who had that amazing match with him in G1 last year, after that started to do a similar thing with a bit more of a powerhouse bend to it, but he was also very much a throwback type of wrestler. In this G1, what Oiwa started to do was add a new submission finisher to his arsenal. He already has the arc lock, which is a sort of shoulder hold, but he had a match with Sonata where he just sort of grabbed hold of a headlock and then kept on bringing it back to that for the whole match. Sonata could not escape. He didn't really know what to do because it felt like any move he did could be countered into a really, sickening vice grip of just a standard side headlock. And what happened is that Oiwa was eventually able to bring him down to the mat and tap him out. And it was a very cool moment. It was a very good match. I don't think a lot of people thought a lot of it until Oiwa kept on doing it all throughout the tournament. He would always go back to this headlock. Eventually they've given it a name, but the name is just the Big Lock, which I guess is appropriate. He did it in the Tsuji match, and Tsuji was just narrowly able to win that one. It probably was the most in peril he was in any match that he didn't lose. And then Oiwa went into Korakuen Hall and faced Hiroki Goto and had another fucking great bout with Goto based around the same thing. And then he tapped out Hiroki Goto with the Big Lock. And that was, I think, when people really started to realize, oh shit, they're actually making this a thing. Because he'd won another big match with it, and because Goto is still far more protected than Sonata is. And it was pretty surreal to see a guy like Oiwa win that match. With that move against such an established name. And then Oiwa went into, he'd been subtly picking up wins against, the lesser guys. He hadn't beaten many upper echelon guys except for Goto. But then he got into his match with Takeshita, and it's he kind of, that's the block final, and you're like, holy shit, wait, Oiwa is actually one of the guys that's in position to make it out. And it ends up that Tsuji in the semi-main clinches a spot in playoffs, whether it's as A1 or A2. because Boltin Oleg lost to the Great Okan, and he got eliminated from contention. That was not a great match, but it was one of the better ones that Okan had, just because it was kind of a build up to a big spot where Oleg got hit with the Dominator on like 2 tables on the outside. So it was like one cool bit of it. But anyways, so it ended up being that the final one, Takeshita versus Oiwa, the main event that night, was just whoever wins is in. And they had a probably Oiwa's second best match of the tournament, besides, obviously this final we're about to get to. I think that was also maybe Takeshita's best. I loved that one. Logan, I'm sorry we're not going like match by match for this one, because I feel like it's important. This is the big talking point, and then we'll circle back to everything else later. The Takeshita match was great because Takeshita worked really well against this this sort of new tweaked version of Oiwa, because he is and we'll get to this later, this whole thing Uemura and Oiwa are doing is very purposefully, I don't want to get too much into like how people are talking about it versus like what AEW is doing or what WWE is doing. That doesn't interest me. Some people really aren't interested in that for whatever reason, but I care a lot about what it means for New Japan because I watch New Japan. And I don't know if they're thinking anything about American wrestling when they're wrestling like this, Oiwa and Uemura. And but they are definitely thinking of it as a refutation of New Japan main events and the style that the 2010s roster cultivated in their main events that we talk about so often. They're guys like him and Uemura are very purposefully. I mean, it's been Uemura's character for a long time, where he is basically out to prove like the dominance of, quote, my new version of strong style, and that's what it's come down to for both these guys. And Takeshita is one of the greatest, living wrestlers, who very much is a of that that style, the DDT main event guys mixed with Okada, mixed with whoever else was there at the top, like a Tanahashi and to some extent Jay White and William Ospreay. And Takeshi's great at that. I think he's fantastic. And their styles clash so well. It was like, the man who knows 1,000 moves versus the man who's practiced one move 1,000 times. And Takeshita in New Japan is really, like I said before, he's starting to actually get over with the crowd, which helps. Like, people wouldn't have been so upset about him just winning outright, so it was a good just babyface versus babyface feel. But Takeshita, it was just cool because his weakness in New Japan, at least, is sort of starting to become these simple, drawn-out submissions, just like it was with the Crab at Wrestle Kingdom. And it just felt like no matter what Takeshita would do, he'd get brought back into that, grip just for a second. But it wore him down. Like, he'd get taken out to the outside and he'd go just do like a simple Irish whip into the barricade, but Oiwa would grab it for a little bit and he'd be like, oh shit, and then he'd have to, weasel his way out of it and hit another big bomber in some way or another. But it just wore down on him and kept on wearing down on him more and more and more. And I know this doesn't sound that compelling. You really have to go and watch it for yourself, this kind of things, because they are impossible to describe in an exciting way. I just am personally bad at doing it. If it was anyone else, I'm sure they'd make it sound great. But the way this match ended was that Takeshita was back in the driver's seat, was kind of in peril, because again, he's getting absolutely exhausted. He's worked the whole fucking tour, and now is just getting worn down, grinded down slowly. He goes for a Blue Thunder, and then Oiwa was able to cinch it in the middle of Blue Thunder and really bring him like all the way down to the ground there. Takeshita's able to get up one last time to his feet, But as soon as he does, Roy goes to the ropes and hits the grip discus lariat. And he does not tap to catch out, but he did get the 1-2-3, and he made it onto the playoffs.
See, I thought that was great.
What?
That finish of that match.
Yeah, I did too. I think it protects Takeshi a little bit, who is a wrestler who does still need to be protected. Some guys like Goto don't.
More
really.
than that, than the protect thing, because I think in New Japan too, like, I don't really care about the. I think if everybody taps out, it's not a big deal. I think like there are certain things like.
Sure.
But New Japan's situation was like wrestlers will tap out, especially in like tournament things and stuff like that, if they're in certain pain or stuff like that, and that's fine. But what I think is smart here is, discus has always been something dangerous. But once he started using this headlock, there's a lot of like, okay, I'm going to use my new finisher, and this is all I'm going to beat people with. And I think also it made sense for like Takeshi to finally, he's exhausted, but he finally has the headlock countered, and he's like mentally prepared for the headlock, and he just doesn't think about the lariat coming after him. And it makes Roy look so much smarter.
Right, yeah.
And also, again, like going into the final day, going into the semis, it's like he has 2 or 3 moves he can use. It's like that Danielson effect. It's like the more moves you have that can finish somebody, the more interesting the match is.
Right. And I mean, I don't think. Okay, so here, I don't know how to say this. I think the way that Yuya and Oiwa wrestle is more of like the sort of groundbreaking thing than actually just using a headlock as a submission finisher. Some people are really obsessed with the idea that like, oh, he's using the simple move as a finisher. I don't think that's that weird. I think anyone, even to this day, can use any fucking move as a finisher, and no one will really bat an eye as long as you teach them that it's like a finisher, like use it. The real thing is like with these long drawn out submission sequences being like the main thing, and that they don't do much else and they don't really leave the ring. That's why it's so old school. It's not got much to do with just these tapping people out with the side headlock. I mean, you watch one match and you're kind of used to it. But it's cool as hell. I mean, it's a good finisher. So yeah, Yuya Uemura real quick, just because I don't want to just talk about Roy. The reason I'm not talking about him as much is not because I don't love Yuya. It's because he had a much more simple sort of path to the playoffs. He kind of was already in a golden position after the Gabe match we talked about last week, and all he had to do was beat Oscar in his final night, which was a great match, but it wasn't like, a high stakes match. Like everyone expected Yuya to get to the playoffs, I'd say. Anyways, then Yuya went on in the semis to face Yota Tsuji in a so we can talk about Yuya a little bit. He had a great clash with Yota, which once again, like, don't speak ill of fucking Tsuji just because this final didn't feature him. He is still very much the man. I think even though this match was much more interesting and unique and compelling, I still would be hard-pressed to say that there's a guy that's the more complete package than him. He's a great match leader, and he led this match. He dominated Yuya all throughout. He proved, that he, like, even though they were generational rivals, it was like, I am a step above you. It felt like Yuya's strikes just weren't as hard as Tsuji's. And even though he's the big technician, he was kind of getting his spine worked to perfection most of the match. Tsuji is both smart and powerful. He's kind of more of a power and explosive wrestler. I remember one great spot where they were in the middle of a strike exchange. Tsuji is able to sort of get around to the back, and he hits a short arm spear to the back of Uemura, and then locks in the crab right after that for sort of an extended sequence. And I just thought that was great. Little things like that are really fun to me, just slight tweaks on it. And it felt brutal, too. I wasn't sure Yuya was going to win when I came in thinking absolutely he would. So that's cool. Yuya was able to... I can't remember exactly how this one went, even though I was so excited about it. Like, again, I'm probably going to rewatch all the playoffs soon. There was a lot going on around me. I do remember that Yuya in this match was finally able to hit the deadbolt proper for the finish, which was very cool. We haven't seen that in a while, and I love it as a finisher. I love it a lot more than the crossbody or the armbar or wrist lock that he'll use sometimes. Logan, if you remember more about this match than me, by all means go and talk about it, because it does deserve to be spotlighted. I just can't be spot for spot.
A lot of this, it was fun because they emphasized how storied the rivalry was because of that 2020 G1 where they were basically the C block with him, Tsuji and Kid wrestling each other on the opening match every single night, and that they've both wrestled more than each other, more than Tenzan and Kojima have in their careers already.
Yeah, it's a fun little fun fact.
That got me.
Yeah, and so I really dug. A lot of the structure of this match was just Tsuji really
They are the versions of each other, by the way. Which is what I think is even funnier.
Yeah, right.
They are what?
Like Oiwa is very much the Tenzan in that relationship.
Oh, sure, yeah.
It's
But Yuya was getting pretty much dominated for most of this, I felt like, by Tsuji. And they really, especially in commentary and stuff, they were emphasizing that, again, he can't get it done. He's always been the one who's just, he's never been able to get it done on the big stage. And, any time that him and Tsuji have fought where anything has been noted on the line in their Apuestas match or, any tournament stuff,
he lost his hair.
And,
he had the awful... What if everything was the same in the final, except it was Oiwa versus
bald Yuya,
red dye buzz cut Yuya?
That'd be hilarious. But Tsuji pretty much threw everything at him, and he was it was kind of his downfall is, and it's interesting to see that I think this in a lot of his big matches is
it's the same way in the Oleg match.
Yeah. It's since he's won with the Boston Crab. Against Takeshita, he keeps trying to go for it, almost as that I'm better than you, as they say, the Young Lions, the move that they most use and stuff like that. And he wants to beat Yuya with it.
Oh, Tsuji also wore he wore the sexy trunks that he wears when he's facing his fellow dojo mates.
Trunks with the boots, the what's it called, the feathered boots or whatever it is, not feathered but tassels. Yeah. But Yuya eventually starts to work out of it, and he refuses to say die, and eventually puts Tsuji in his own Boston Crab, starts to rally, goes, I think he hits a high fly flow, 1-2, kick out, goes for another one, Tsuji spears him out of midair, Gene Blast him, sets up for the real Gene Blaster, hits it in the ring, 1-2, kick out. He just cannot do anything to put this little effort down. And once again, Yuya just rallies through everything, and eventually catches him for, what was it? I think he hit a release deadbolt into the
yes.
I forget what his move is, where he steps up and hits him with almost a leg catch point.
Oh, well, actually, Logan, you probably don't realize this because you're not
tapped in as you are. Shinio freak
lifer like me, but this was a debuting new signature.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. I was I don't think I've seen this. Was it called?
Yeah, he had
what was it called?
Yeah, you'd think this is probably pretty cool. They called it a shining elbow.
Yeah.
You'd think this is pretty cool, Cooper, or maybe you wouldn't. Maybe you think it's too much, but I thought it was pretty cool. He did a new setup for the finishing sequence, where kind of like he's been doing the tribute to Tanahashi, he did a Muto tribute, but also did a twist on it. He did the step on the knee for the Shining Wizard, but instead he came down with an elbow. And I thought it looked cool.
Yeah,
it might not look cool on everyone, but it sure looked cool both those
Well, I
nights.
too. They also,
from how you described it, that sounds rad as hell, and
it was pretty sweet.
It looked really good on Tsuji. It did not look as good when he hit it on Oiwa, but it made sense for the match. But no, so originally he went to the top, and when Yuya had that great G1 a couple years ago where he got injured, where we thought, oh wait, this might be the turning point. He got injured in a match with Tsuji going for a high fly flow. And so a lot of this has been he was scared to go to the top, and then that's why he changed it from using the deadbolt versus like the catch point as his finisher to like prove he's not scared anymore. And so when he went up for the top for that high fly, and Tsuji caught,
I'm not afraid anymore.
and Tsuji caught him for the Gene Blast, you're like, oh my gosh, that might be it. Especially when he set up for another one, and I'm like, oh, he might hit Wildfire, and this might be it. But
and now, I cannot overstate that this was the most fucking devastating, explosive Gene Blast I've ever seen.
Killed him.
It was almost like a fucking like running like side slam. He picked him all the way up and he dropped him all the way down. It was insane.
But anyway, Yuya released Deadbolt into the Shining Elbow, into the catch point, and he's not done. He hits that pose, the Heat Storm pose, gets him up for this.
Oh, and this was...
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, that was in the Oiwa.
Yeah, you're thinking of the Oiwa. And he hits him with this
I'll get to
straight, normal deadbolt, no release. 1, 2, 3. He has finally beat the IWGP Heavyweight Champion. And finally, he's got to his first G1 Finals. Looks like he's going to win it all. Surely.
Yes.
There was...
Surely, Yuya Uemura is taking this tournament. Like, there was no doubt in my mind. I was like, at this point, Oiwa. So I'm not going to talk much about the Oiwa-Callum match. I fear that I might be joining the crew.
Oh, you're hating on Callum?
Yes! I think Callum has moments of... Yes! I think Newman has moments where he's all right, but he can't keep up with the rest of them.
Have fun with Jeff Cobb, buddy.
And more importantly than that, his style just really did not mesh with Oiwa's. I mean, who could have guessed? But seriously, it was not any good.
1 second. I have breaking news of the condition of Nigel McGuinness.
Oh, dear Lord. Please. Please.
So, let me read the...
Don't tell me.
You want to hear this. So, the exact quote, Nigel McGuinness refuses to withdraw from the Continental Challenge Cup after suffering an injury. Now, in this, he sent a video in, and he is wearing a boot. And it says, I spent a good portion of my career in pain. And in a way, I find to feel the same. But in another way, this feels very different. I know I'm at the end of my career, and as such, this is going to be my last chance I get to compete in the Continental Cup. So he refuses.
That brother's fucking working. I'm telling you right now, we're going to Wembley.
Well, he will be wrestling Hechicero this Wednesday on Dynamite. And if there's anybody who knows how to work an injury, it might be Big
Bro, they're just going to be rolling around on some bullshit. They're not actually going to fucking twist each other. That brother's working. That brother's working! Oh my god! He's the GOAT! He's the fucking king of this shit. Let's go!
But it will be for the 4 matches. Nigel McGuinness versus Hechicero on this week's Dynamite. John Moxley versus Jay White on this week's Dynamite.
That's terrorism, dude.
Claudio.
That's a fucking terroristic match.
Just wait. Claudio Castagnoli versus Eddie Kingston on the A show. And
those fuckers.
Rounding it out, Orange Cassidy versus Kyle O'Reilly, also on the A show. But yeah, there's your Cooper.
Oh, they got me.
There's your Cooper Prater update. You guys can hear Cooper again. For
they
like
got
5
me.
minutes. All right.
Yeah, I'm not going to even talk about the Callum Oiwa match because it was just, again, it was awkward. I mean, it wasn't like horrible, but it just, they never could really get out of the second gear because just Oiwa's, finishing stretch doesn't meld at all with what Newman likes to do. So it's like,
okay.
I mean, Logan, do you have anything to say about him?
Callum bad. That's what I'm going to say. I mean, it wasn't too bad for him because he was fighting a goat, but he's fighting the young OG right here. What I do have to ask you as is a newly found Pneumoid hater, I've heard some things about this final Hanare Callum Newman match where apparently Hanare hit a hidden blade. Is that true, Mr. Dudley?
I sent that in the group chat. What are you talking about?
He sent you the clip. What do you mean? Is it true?
I didn't even see that.
No, yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't good. No, but
Hanare had one job to get my beloved Gabe Kidd in the semis, and he failed. And I will never respect the King of No Fap for that.
Oh my God! A world where Gabe was in that match instead would have been even better.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Damn, that would have been
Maybe
really
I
good.
just with AI,
That would have been really good.
AI
Yeah.
and Noki and the Gimp, like it brainwashed
We'll talk
anything I
about
saw.
it.
You know.
The Gimp is good. AI Inoki is not very good. Very bad. But anyways, now we can talk about the real shit. The match that has the entire world. The world is watching. So here we go. Ryohei Oiwa comes out first to Ashes Throw the Line. I'm wired for survival.
The worst.
I can't believe they gave him that song right before they
ever.
gave him like the biggest fucking out of nowhere push. I thought that was a death sentence. I thought they were like,
That's
fuck
your
Oiwa.
humiliation ritual to win stuff. Because they gave Zach the really bad theme after he won the title, didn't they?
They did
They did it
right
with
before
Zach,
he
they
won
did it with,
back-to-back
Callum.
Tokyo Domain events.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
They just love
But,
AI over there, dog.
Oiwa-
That's how they know that you're one of the big ones.
Oh, Jesus. They had to, they should re-record it with the AI Inoki voice singing.
That'd be funny.
Oiwa came out with the Tinzan, an orange and black Raging Bull, like headdress, the horns, is a little tribute to the man, who was on commentary for this match on the Japanese booth. For those who don't know, I'm like all young boys, they're sort of assigned to a New Japan dad to watch over when they're training, and Tinzan was that for Oiwa, so they have a bit of a connection there. Oiwa has a lot of connection to the greats, I've realized now. He's been trained, very intently by fucking Tinzan and Zach and Ogawa. That is a killer lineup. I mean, how could you not be amazing with that kind of talent behind you? And this match, for ball knowers, was actually very Ogawa coded. Seriously, it was. I've actually watched the matches. I can say it. So here we go. Yuya comes out next. He does his pose, the sun pose in the middle of the ring. Oiwa is like inches away from him, not taking his eyes off the man. The tension is high. You could hear My Way by Limp Bizkit vaguely in the background if you listen close. And the crowd is excited for this one. It should be said too, real quick, I kind of touched on it. Ryohei Oiwa and Yuya Uemura, like the one big match that Oiwa has had, the one big feud that he's been able to hang his hat on was this match that they had that was like a proto version of this final they had in the G1, just in the random block stages last year. They have flirted with each other all throughout late 2025 and 2026, but never had another singles match. They've been in tag matches. They've just been around each other, always talking about how, like, that's my rival, that's my guy. And people were complaining about why they didn't just have a singles match at Dominion rather than the Taichi and Uemura versus Oiwa and Zach match. But I think now it is obvious that it was because they were gearing up for this. The match starts. They do the classic, left hand, right hand out, locking the fingers, searching for, a hold, going beat for beat. Neither can really grab anything. In a surprising twist, Uemura, I guess, thinks that he's going to get ahead of it. And the first hold that he locks in is a headlock. Not a big lock, but a side headlock nonetheless. Got it in tight. Oiwa is struggling to get out of it for a little bit, but he does kind of just use his size and strength to overcome it with a big shoulder tackle. Uemura starts to go for the arm instead, but he doesn't really get it in full, and Oiwa is able to weasel out of it. In another grapple exchange, he is able to finally hit in his own version of the lock for the first time. Uemura gets out of it but then Oiwa is quick while he's on the ground to hit a big ass Jackson senton. And this one looked pretty brutal. He didn't really like slide off him at all. He kind of just crushed down on his ribs. I think now here's an important bit of the match. I'm just saying, like, these grappling, sections. It should be said they take a fucking long ass time. They are seriously grappling. And the reason I'm saying that is I think by the point I am at in the match, the 10-minute call has already been made. And was sitting there like, holy
it was
shit.
crazy.
It feels like that just went by in like 2 seconds. And that keeps on happening throughout the match. And I hope that just because I'm brushing over them does not make it sound like they were not exciting. It was very good and high tension. Because, I mean, it's the fucking G1 final. You're hard-pressed to find a better atmosphere in wrestling than a hot G1 final. They really did not quite pack Ryogoku out. These are still new stars. But I think they got, like, 7,300 or 400 for this one, which is pretty damn close. And, thank you, Tenzan, for being there, because it probably would have been less without that whole gimmick. But still, very hot crowd. Very, very hot crowd. After the senton, they both get back to their feet. Yuya is able to sort of regain control with the speed, the running the ropes and hitting his arm bars back, or his arm bars and his arm drags back to back to back. He's just smoothly transitioning, keeping the pressure on the arm. He's kind of decided we're focusing on this now. He starts going for a slightly different move than the cross arm breaker that he's used to winning with when he wants a submission victory. Instead, he's going for a tight wrist lock, a standing wrist lock with Oiwa on his knees, which is a move that Uemura has sort of used to finish off matches, but only used to beat young lions, which is interesting. You could take it to mean many things, Uemura getting a little cocky and deciding that he wants to put away his rival with a more disrespectful move, or you could take it to mean that Oiwa, is thinking, or Uemura is thinking more about, the statement made, with winning with a simpler move, for, his strong style with the style that him and Oiwa are bringing to the forefront. Uemura really is just systematically going after the arm. He's, obviously trying to weaken both the big lock and the discus lariat with that. And it works, He does, he's also, I would guess, looking to soften him up for the deadbolt. A lot of his moves are looking to soften the arm up already. So there's a lot of thought going into it, clearly. Oil eventually is able to escape and get to a tight head scissors, which lasts for a second too, and starts shifting his attention to Uemura's neck pretty clearly. He works the area with another headlock, but Uemura quickly escapes out of that one and answers with one of his pinpoint accuracy drop kicks, then gets back on the arm and appears to be one step of Oiwa for just a second, but once again Oiwa uses his strength to get to a doctor bomb position and isn't able to land it for a second, but then after a bit of jockeying for position, he hits it, goes for the pin. Uemura kicks out. I think that is the first kick out of the match. The two after that get up and start exchanging suplexes. Oiwa's going for the dragon, isn't able to get it, but like always when they bring their arms down, he goes right into a German. He does not go for the pin after that, actually. Oiwa sort of powers back up after it, runs and hits the Tenzan suplex. And these guys are so tired already, or probably past the 20-minute call. They're basically slipping. They aren't doing any overselling like you'd see, I don't want to say overselling like I hate it, but they're not doing any, big, wobbly, just swinging all around the ring kind of selling that you'd see in, the other kind of main event style that we're talking about. It's very, they're both very dialed in on each other, but just sort of slipping, not moving around with quite as much accuracy as normal. After the Tenzan suplex, Uemura gets up again for the proper dragon, then goes for the high fly flow and gets a near fall after hitting it. He picks him up right after that. Oh, at one point, I think it might have been earlier in the match, I wanted to point something out. It was when Uemura, I think it was after he hit the drop kick a few minutes ago. Uemura hits the goddamn pose after the drop kick.
Yeah.
He's standing right in the middle of the ring. And you won't believe it, but they do
zoom
the
out. They
zoom
did the zoom out, bro. They did the Okada zoom out.
They do the Rainmaker zoom out with the pose. And I thought that was so on the nose, but I was okay with it because in that moment I was like, all right, man, I guess I was wrong. Props to Logan. They're going all in with Yuya, which I believed until right about the fucking point when he tapped out. But right then I was like, all right, man, it's Uemura's time. They're taking him to the top.
It's like, wait.
Which ended up not quite being
Uemura's
true.
Goto? He always has been. Bah! Hey, you'll get that title reign. 10 more years, Yuya. Don't worry. 10 more years.
Yeah, just hold on. He'll win the G1 in 20.
The problem is, like...
When Yota Tsuji is the world champion.
Yeah. Shota and Yoda are going to win the G1 before he does. So we got another... And probably Callum. So we got another 4 years. We can hold out for 4.
Yuto Ice might win the fucking G1.
God, dude. He will never win a G1. Or he's going to win the G1 and not win the title. I think he will legit... He is the only other person than Goto that did it in 2016 to win, be in the finals of the New Japan Cup and the finals of the G1 and win neither. Now imagine, instead of establishing the new Moid, which you have now said was bad, as the New Japan Cup winner, we instead put it on Yuya and then had him drop it back to Tsuji. And then you could have like a hot feud coming out of the G1 with him winning that and then losing the G1. That'd be a lot more interesting. And then you could have, Newman still feud in the mid-card like he belongs with the returning Jeff Cobb. But no, we had to have the new Moid get his little title reign. This is... I'm so happy because Oiwa is like the second, like probably the next guy on the roster I've loved the most of like the young guys. But like, man, did it not? When I woke up, opened Twitter, and saw Oiwa as your G1 Climax winner.
You've got to stop spoiling yourself before watching these big matches.
I couldn't help it. I was so excited.
This hit so different.
To be fair, I want to let you know, Jack, I knew, and I was still shouting at my... If it's a good... I felt like it was me and you watching Gabe and Kimmy. I felt your presence by me. I was like, get up! Get this mother effer! Get up!
It was very similar to the Gabe matches. I was about to say, when... Well, let me finish.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm almost done. So, Oiwa... Or after the high fly flow, Uemura picks him back up, goes for the deadbolt. Oi was able to get the headlock back in. After that, Uemura quickly does a back suplex. Oiwa refuses to release it. Heatstorm digs deep, escapes, gets the deadbolt suplex, actually does hit it, but he follows it up with that, and he follows it up with that shining elbow, but misses Lion's Shiner. Oiwa locks in the headlock. Then does sort of the thing he normally does with a sleeper and lets go, going for the grip. But then Uemura does the smoothest fucking counter you will ever see in your life into an arm bar, or he does an arm drag out of the discus, then locks in the arm bar, and brings it all the way down. He doesn't just do like the, transition arm bar. He brings it into the arm breaker. Oiwa is desperately trying to hold on to his, fingertips, not let it get away from him. Then he gets up from the armbar, decides he wants that wrist lock instead, gets it on, and again, this is just a long, drawn-out sequence, lasts for a while. Oiwa gets up slowly from the wrist lock, hits a second Tenzan suplex, hits the grip, only a 2 count. Then, right after the 2 count, Oiwa locks in the damn headlock, and Uemura is just in a tough position. He slowly brings him all the way down to the ground, just cranking on it over and over. And I will say, like, it just looks... It looks legit when Oiwa does it, because, I mean, frankly, his biceps are the size of my fucking head. And it feels like he's, getting completely constricted. It looks like a right proper finisher when they're down on the ground like that. He sort of cinches it in almost to the point where it's closer to the bulldog choke than the side headlock. And Uemura, out of nowhere, kind of, after like probably 2-3 minutes in the hold, that's probably an overstatement, but it fucking felt like it. He gives the verbal submission. Red Shoes calls it out. Holy fucking shit. I promise you, I dropped to my knees in real life because I could not believe what I just saw. The fucking Grip won the G1 Climax. From the play-ins. He beat El fucking Phantasmo in the play-ins of this tournament. And then he won the G1.
I knew.
Did you think about that until right now?
I knew he won the play-in. But I can't believe he beat the corpse of ELP and kicked him out of the company and then won the whole dang thing.
And then he won the G1. Our savior, our Messiah.
It was promised to him 3,000 years ago for beating ELP. If you kick him out of the company, the title, the G1 will be yours.
I feel like this is a match, like I said, I can't do it justice. You have to go and feel the fucking energy. In the arena, I do feel like to some extent this was a refutation of the really over the top main events, with the multiple big near falls and high spots and all the works, But more than that, I feel like it was just them saying, we are, the new generation of New Japan. And we are forging a different style for New Japan. We're changing what it, a main event can be in our company. In much the same way as the really weird and off-the-wall Tsuji versus Yuto Ice match was earlier. But of course, this one takes the cake just because it was longer, it was more epic, it was the G1 final, and the atmosphere was just amazing. And, I mean, that shock victory, I never in a million years would have thought that Oiwa would be the guy to take it. That's like a real fucking stamp of approval. I mean, I remember, Logan, just a week or two ago, you were like, what do you think is Oiwa's ceiling? And I said just a week or two ago, I don't think that he will ever be above, the guys that he debuted after, realistically. I was fucking wrong. Apparently, Zach put the fucking, put them in front of some kind of brainwashing regimen before this tournament started and got his boy to the top of the company. And Roy, Jesus, he proved that he belonged there. He worked main event matches with Tsuji and with Takeshita and with Uemura and came across looking like every bit the star that they were, in spite of Ashes throw the line. I'm not a shit guy anymore. Jesus. And, the crowd got behind him more than ever in this match. Like, Yuya fans were there, but really, they were going, Oiwa, 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 like any, legend of Japanese pro wrestling would be in Ryogoku. I mean, like I said, I don't want to be, look like a fool later, especially knowing what happened with some bullshit like Gabe and Kenny, that I loved in the moment, and then it ended up meaning kind of nothing. But this felt like a match that will be looked back on as a bit of a turning point, in the same way that the Tanahashi Okada matches did, than the Okada Omega matches did. It felt like these guys, more than ever, I'd been saying for a while that they were trying to change, purposefully change what the main event scene was going to look like. But in the G1 final, with two guys that weren't really fully established yet, and it had gotten over within this one tournament. I don't know. It just felt like magic. This whole tournament did, but they stuck the fucking landing. Oiwa, celebrated in the ring, looking like $1,000,000. The TMDK boys came behind him, celebrating with him. Zach hugged his boy. There's an amazing photo that you can look up on Twitter. One of the fantastic Japanese photographers that frequents the New Japan shows, where it's like he's got the headlock locked in on Oiwa or on Yuya, and Zach is like mimicking it, right beside it, like fucking, a boxing manager or something. He's like, cinch it in. He's doing it with the hand motions. It's a great photo. Yeah. Good ass match. Good ass match. I am losing my mind. So Logan, take it away.
Yeah, I think we mentioned it before 1,000 times, but it was one of those matches where it's like you remember why you love something. It's the best way I can describe it. It's something that, in a true way, like, honest to God, right now, it is probably my match of the year.
I think it might be mine too, and I loved those two matches at Wrestle Kingdom so much. But I think
too is
this was
the difference is like the Wrestle Kingdom one, and this one does have G1 build up and stuff, but the Wrestle Kingdom one, like, was good because of the context of everything and the careers and the Tanahashi. Where this was, I think, is so good in a vacuum, and it's like textbook. They say textbook pro wrestling.
They told the whole thing.
The whole thing of
in the ring.
The whole thing in the ring. There wasn't much brawling. Like, he wasn't trying to go for there wasn't really.
There wasn't any brawling. They didn't leave the ring in 35 minutes. It wasn't
really high spots. It was straight up. They said on a commentary, this is a headlock versus a wrist hold. Like, that is the match. And
and Walker said it when he was like, he said that it was like a tournament that has been decided by the high fly flow and the Rainmaker is about to be decided by a fucking headlock or a wrist.
And like, my thing about like all those things is like, a lot of people nowadays in wrestling have this idea of like, and I agree that like any move that can be a finisher can be a transition move. But there is something about, more than anything, about pro wrestling. The best thing for me is I want to believe. I want to sit there and I want to be taken. I want to be sucked in to the point where it's like I'm watching a sport. Like, it feels like a sport to me. It feels like I'm watching this. I'm like,
I can say with the highest compliment yet. You're right, Logan. Sorry, just to say, like, the highest compliment you can give this match is that it's the kind of match that makes it easy to believe.
Yep.
Just you're in there with them for 35 minutes.
Yep, and like,
it feels like it's
in a match too. On top of that, it flows great. Like, did not feel like 35 at all. It's funny because people are like, "This is the change of the New Japan main event style," and I'm like, "Yes, technically, but like lengthwise, it wasn't." It went yard, and you didn't feel any of it. On top of that, it's like, it's also textbook, and like doesn't have to have face or heel dynamics. This is just two guys who are on a collision path in the biggest moment of their careers, and who wants it more? Who can be the smarter as catch can? They're both working their style. Both have been working their style for years and haven't had much to show for it. Neither of, like, the most Oiwa had was a never open weight, never 6-man title reign with TMDK, with Hartley and Zach. He won the Super Junior or the World Tag League, but he couldn't even win the tag titles. You just got a title that doesn't even exist anymore. The KOPW title is the only title he's won. And they finally, like, on a collision course since like a couple years ago, it feels like, against each other, both of them at the same time, who refuse to change their styles to a fault, to where it will cost them matches, finally getting here and having, like, just a perfect clash. I don't know. I really love this. And, like, again, it's very rare, especially if I'm alone. If I'm, like, with people, I'll get into it, But like if I'm alone, it's hard for me to like get my emotions up or really be taken aback, except for high spots. But I mean, I was like, when he had him to wristless, I was like, damn,
It's just
damn,
utterly fucking engrossing,
damn!
dude. I mean, it's all in the emotion, you know. It's a game of selling it. Both of them felt like they, like you said. I mean, it's just reading the micro expressions and reading the crowd, but they were, like you said, in the biggest match of their lives in a G1 that had already felt like a changing of the guard G1, and they made it to the end, and it was like, this is generation, defining. This is era defining. These two guys are going to go out and prove how unique they are, but they need to also win the match. And, who comes out on top? It ended up being the fucking Grip. And Yuya, in classic New Japan fashion, was devastated. He was, like, inconsolable, like, on his knees fucking crying after the match. He got up, and did the right thing, and he held Oiwa's hand, but then he went back to backstage comments, and he was just like, I can't keep you, and like, I am a big fucking failure. Made it to the New Japan Cup finals and lost, and made it to the G1 finals and lost, and I get to these big spots and I never have anything to show for it. And he did say, like, I'm not going to stop trying, like, I've got to keep getting up. But he's so dejected, and this was just as big a moment, like, this felt like a big character change for Yuya, just like it did for Oiwa. I think he's finally going to have some more, not edge, but grit, I guess, to his character now that he's gone through all this, hardship. And I know that's kind of a meme, like, suffering builds character, but in the case of Yuya, it actually is very needed, something like this. I think he's a guy that could use it. Oiwa, I mean, shit. Here's another, like, before we move on to the angles, this G1 was probably the best G1 of the 2020s, I think, handily. Oiwa is a made man now. He is a goddamn star. I mean, they gave him the G1, the most prestigious accolade in the whole fucking company.
I think
but on top
the G1's more
yeah.
prestigious than the title, honestly. Like,
Yeah, it is. It's more exclusive. There's been 36 G1s.
20
There's
something,
like
yeah.
22,
G1s,
I think,
yeah.
winners now. Yeah. But what I was gonna say is, like, Oiwa is a made man. He is not the only one. They did what a G1 is supposed to do, is like be the moment where everyone's character arc for the year kind of comes to it climaxes. It's the G1 climax. Oleg went from popular powerhouse to a goddamn like monster to where it's like a big deal if you can beat him. Oiwa obviously became a new front runner for the guy in the company. Tsuji established himself as like a right proper ace and not just the guy they're going with right now. Yuya, like I said, added this new layer to his character. Gabe came in with the most confidence in the world and finally got humbled and taken down a peg, and now he's back to being more of, kind of a paranoid, more unpredictable guy again. Undercard guys like Drilla and Oscar and Yuto Ice all came out looking a lot more legitimate, and I think we understand a lot more about them and their style and their character than we did before. Aaron Wolf feels a lot more established now. It feels like he has a more proper place on the roster, and is about to feud with TMDK, which I think will help a lot with that sort of thing. Sonata might well be eyeing a babyface turn in the near future. Stuff like that. Like, there's hardly anyone that didn't come out with something interesting to say about them. It's just a huge, huge success. I think I will remember this G1 for many years to come. It, like the Sinners clip, like I think before the sun went down.
Last time I saw the sun.
Like,
Last time I saw my G1.
So yeah, Logan, do you have any closing thoughts on G1 Climax 36?
Yeah.
Oh, I do have one more closing thought before I hand it over to you.
I want to ask you about the GIMP and Gabe.
Well, I'm about to get to the angles.
Okay,
I'm about to get to the angles. We're talking about just the matches first. What I was gonna say is closing thought. No matter how good Oiwa has gotten, he's about to be blasted into.
No, he's not. He's winning.
He's gonna have a title. He's gonna have the Okada reign. We go in 720 days, 2,000 defenses. We are never dropping this.
It's funny you say that because I actually think he will drop the title to Oiwa because it is at King of Pro Wrestling, and Cooper hates us. He just left.
Surely
on top of that too, he lost to Suchi in the G1, so it'd be interesting if he, they play into that and he wins here.
It comes with the 50 chops. It comes with the Boston Crab.
Hilarious.
So yeah, the other thing, and damn it, Cooper needs to get back in here because I need him to tell me who Shun Skywalker even is. I don't watch Dragon Gate.
You've seen him before at the Purge Night of Torture.
I know. I saw him at Purge Night of Torture, and I watched a 23-minute YouTube video about his heel turn today.
That's hilarious.
So I know why he is the way that he is. Yeah, so let's get on to the angles and set up for Destruction in Kobe and the rest of the year at the G1 final. The most, probably, one of two talked about things that happened is that we have a new big-time heavyweight that's entered the fold. After a match between Hantai and the House of Torture on the semifinal night, the House started to beat down on Takeshita after they won the match, reigniting that feud they'd been sort of having in the first half of the year with the Yujiro match, if you can remember. But then a freak, a disgusting, evil freak in a gimp mask and all black gator leather comes out to the ring. It's Shun Skywalker from Dragon Gate, who has just recently left the company. God damn it, I need Cooper here. He knows who these fringe indie people are. What happened? No, seriously.
He just hates us, I guess. I don't know. He's like, yeah, it's enough of that. Well, I guess we gotta continue, brother. We gotta soldier on.
No, you're right. I'm not gonna stop. So Shun Skywalker comes out. He has a really weird ass creepy voice and way of speaking. I've heard this before, but he basically says, Takeshita, the world's Takeshita, that's what they always call him in New Japan. He's like, you may be, the world traveler, but you've never seen anything, as evil as, wink, fucking wink, as evil as Shun Skywalker and the House of Torture now together. Cooper, you gotta help me out. I don't know who the fuck this guy is. I was like, wait, he has to explain to me. I don't watch Dragon Gate.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna be that big of a help. I mean, I've watched the Dragon Gate that Shun was in back in.
Have you not watched much of the heel Shun Skywalker stuff?
Well, not like recently. So, yeah. I will say, Shun Skywalker, from my initial kind of interest in him, is a very big, very broad kind of it's maybe a bit of a cliche term, but kind of like an anime like villain style of heel, and that is very divisive for a lot of people, for a lot of Japanese wrestling fans, even just depending on kind of what style you like, and if you prefer whatever a more grounded take on pro wrestling, he might not be for you. But
I have heard the saying that he is funny in the context of like everything else that happened.
He is very funny, and I think that is kind of where my appreciation for him comes from, is his I don't know, just je ne sais quoi, where he like, well, it just he is so strange and off-putting that
I think, like you said about my extremely unique taste in Japanese professional wrestling, I can't imagine that I don't become a gigantic Shun Skywalker fan.
Yeah. It helps too that he is not bad in the ring. Mm-hmm. He certainly has slowed way, way, way down recently.
Sounds like a lot of guys that have ended up in the house.
Yeah. But if ever there was a place for a freaky little weirdo who wants to maybe chill out on the actual moves side of things, it is the house. I think though that if in an ideal world he ousts Narita and the house can finally have a real like charismatic leader again that will make their stuff more digestible as it was under
I
under
completely
Evil.
Agree with that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it for that reason, because I've been vocal about thinking that Narita doesn't really have the chops to lead a faction, especially not a faction as like that needs sort of this melodramatic heel at the top. And from what little I know about Shun Skywalker, that being the 23-minute video essay that I watched about his heel turn today on YouTube on my lunch break, he seems like a perfect fit. And he is going straight for Konosuke Takeshita for the TV championship. Apparently this has been a dream match of his for a long time. And they're going to do battle in Kobe, the land of Dragon Gate. So definitely a perfect place for him to have his first big match. Like you said, he's not officially the leader of House of Torture, but even in just the backstage comments, it felt like he was kind of calling the shots already. Like, he's like, we are declaring war on Takeshita, which doesn't feel like something you'd say if you didn't have the boys behind you. I don't know if it'll amount to anything. There's sometimes confusion with these sorts of things where I'm like, oh shit, Jake Lee is taking the reins because he's going straight for the heavyweight title, but it doesn't really happen. And a lot of times, even if it feels like they should go further with these outsider guys they don't, because they care too much about loyalty to the dojo system. But on the flip side of that, that being said, when they do sign the outsiders, guys from other dojos, from other Japanese wrestling promotions, it normally does not look like this. And by that I mean that they come with a new can of paint, maybe a new character. Like, Takagi got new gear, slightly different attitude. Jake Lee went from, the good-looking guy's Jake Lee to the smart bastard. They just normally don't bring them over exactly the same. But they brought Shun over exactly the same, with the same gear, with the same entrance mask, even with the same theme music that I assume he has the rights to. So I think if it's anything to go by, this big G1 debut, the guys who did that last year were the Knockout Brothers, and the Knockout Brothers became probably the most talked about like focal point of the company for the entire year. So I think they probably kind of have big plans for Shun. I think he's one of those guys too in Dragon Gate that is coming over with his own built-in fan base. I think a lot of people to follow him, and him specifically. So
I mean, count me
probably
in.
a big.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, I mean, I'm not following him, but like I was following Dragon Gate to watch him. I was not really like whatever a Dragon Gate guy.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So I mean, I think just from what little I know about the fact that he's kind of been Dragon Gate's de facto top guy with this super interesting story around him, and coming into maybe be the leader of one of their factions. I think he's one of the biggest gets they've had in a really long time as for like outside talent. We'll see how it plays out, but it feels like, and the Takeshita program immediately, it feels like this guy might end up being a big deal. As for the other big angle that was done in the Logan, sorry. Do you have anything to say about Freaky Shun Skywalker in the House of Torture?
No. I have nothing to say about Freaky Shun Skywalker. I don't know. That's the Gimp, bro. Like, he's going to probably take the TV title off Takeshita. That's what I think.
He probably is going to win the match. He said his promo, and then he did, some crazy moan or something after to the crowd. He was like, Apparently he does that a lot.
There it is.
But it caught me off
There it is.
guard.
Yeah.
Did I do it? Was it a good impression?
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Oh my god, dude. What is New Japan Pro Wrestling? Oh my god. So the other big angle we got was attempted murder. After the United Empire versus Unbound Company.
Yeah, I read about this
match.
as you were going over the G1 stuff. I was like, what the fuck?
It's like, this sounds way cooler than what happened in the main event. So, the United Empire boys were up against Unbound Company. And, so after the match, they sort of win. United Empire wins. Callum Newman, who was upset about losing in the semifinals the night before, decides to take it all out on poor Daiki Nagai. He beats his ass in the middle of the ring, and then he pulls his sword out, and he gets in position to slit Daiki Nagai's throat in front of the crowd on live television with his real sword.
Callum
and the
Newman.
Commentators are selling it like, oh my god, he's gonna kill him.
Callum Newman saw Drew McIntyre fucking fling that little fake ass sword around and not actually do anything with it for 2 years in the pandemic, and he made a note to himself when I'm a real wrestler, I'm gonna get a sword and I'm gonna actually fucking slice somebody.
Threaten to kill somebody. Right. And then Gato comes out and talks him down, and Gato, I think for the first time since the David Finlay first promo where he coined the iconic "this guy got the fucking balls," I think we got another Gato banger for the first time since then, because he says, Callum, what are you doing to my boy? And then he says, Callum, you need a change in attitude. I've got somebody who will fix your attitude. And then the Jeff Cobb theme music hits. And to give JC Mateo props, he got a way bigger pop than Shun Skywalker did the night before. The crowd was coming unglued for the Unbound Jeff Cobb. And yeah, Cobb walks down to the ring, and he says that he is coming back to New Japan but not as part of United Empire, but as a member of the Unbound Company. And he does not fight Newman, but he does scare him off. And yeah, I think that's a good fit for Jeff. I think that it's better than trying to slot him into the sort of new United Empire again. I could see him having like a fun Unks tag team with Shingo or something like that. He went backstage and he said that he had a pretty funny promo. He said that he's back from his year-long vacation, chilling on the beach. He did not acknowledge anything that had happened over in Fed World. And then he said that he's back as a good guy in Unbound Company. He doesn't want to be with those heels in United Empire because no matter what some emo losers have to say about him on Twitter, he's a nice guy at heart, you know, calling out the fucking TJP drama from all that time ago. How long ago was that we were talking about the TJP drama on WWE?
As previously mentioned, all wrestlers banned from internet usage from here on
for
out,
real.
please, dear God.
First WWGL mentioned in like 20 episodes, by the way. Shout out. Remember when we gave it over to the new guys and made 3 episodes, skipped 3 episodes of continuity,
and they threw our legacy in the trash.
In the garbage. I can't believe. If I wish, I would have been like, nope, you can't have it. Because they made 3 episodes. One of them, it was episode 101, 102, and then 106 with no description. What are we doing, guys? What are they teaching over there in Weagle Land? We left and everything gone to crap. That's all I'm saying. We were holding that organization up. Noah Phillips leaves and everything's gone. Mm-hmm. Everything's gone to crap, brother. I'm sorry, Jack. I just had to get that off my chest. It's been irking me for a while.
No, that's fair. You were right to do it. So, yeah, Jeff Cobb is back. I don't mind Jeff Cobb being back. I think he is a great mid-card stalwart and fits better in New Japan than he would in AEW or obviously staying as part of the MFTs in WWE. What do you think, Logan?
Yeah, I'm very glad he came back from his vacation, you know. I got my shirt. You know, I never left. I was waiting in the wings.
The shirt?
I was waiting in the wings for my beloved Jeff Cobb, my favorite mid-carder. He will never win a title of importance probably ever again, but hey, you know, him and Tsuji's tag league run is probably going to be pretty fun. You know, he's going to team with Tsuji, and then Shingo and Drilla are going to team as War Dragons again, so it'll be fun.
I think Cobb, I'm happy for Cobb there because I think he is a guy who would actually be willing to sort of like adapt to, you know, stuff like have cool programs with these newer guys and like try and do something unique. Where there's some old fucks where I think would come in and like would just be like, I'm gonna do my same.
I feel like Cobb, you know, he went to WWE, he tried to get the paycheck. It obviously didn't work out, and like they didn't even try with him. Like they basically killed him day one.
Yeah, he was not.
And I think he realized, like, I mean, you know, had a pretty good thing going with New Japan. I mean, unless he like tries to go to AEW, I don't see him leaving again. I see him being like as a steady, you know, work. I mean, it's better than having like Chase Owens on your roster. So, you know.
Yeah. I mean, rumors are rumors, and who knows what is up with these guys' lives that, like, don't, you know, speak very publicly about them. But for what it's worth, it was rumored for the past, like, 3 years before he went to WWE. He kind of moved to Japan and might have even had, like, you know, sort of a family in Japan. You know, whether or not that's true, I don't know, but it made me sort of surprised to see that he went to WWE and not surprised to see that he came back instead of choosing to stay in the States. Mm-hmm. So I'm getting sleepy, so I'm going to quickly run through what other programs were set up for Destruction in Kobe and beyond. Here's one our buddy over there will be happy about. Aaron Wolf was in a
Is it
tag
Wolf time?
match with Oleg. It's Wolf fucking time.
Oh!
With Oleg and with the it was a tag match with Oleg and some other Hantai body. I can't.
Oh my
remember.
god, the fucking
against-
greatest tag team in the history of the world.
Yes, the greatest tag team in the world. The fucking Olympic Violence Collection.
Big Boy Killers.
Connection, sorry. They were up against Jag and Zach and Fujita, and contrary to what you might expect, it was the junior Kosei Fujita who got in Aaron Wolf's face and decided at the end that he wanted to be on the list to challenge for the Never Openweight Championship, because often forgot it is an openweight championship, and he is well within his rights to do that. It has not been made official yet. I think Fujita might have to actually get a pin over Wolf before something like that happens, but that is a very exciting prospect. Also, Oleg has got some beef with Hartley Jackson again, so at some point we're going to get probably another big beefy clash in the fall. We've got... Oh, hell yeah. This one was kind of weird. And it also happened... So on the semifinal night, they had a Hantai versus Unbound Company match. And randomly, Yano got a roll-up victory over Oscar Loibe for them to win the match. And everyone was like, what the fuck? But then the next night, KOB and Hanari and Okan started brawling before all the Jeff Cobb stuff happened at the end of that match. And then, who were to come out but the fucking most violent players in 2026, Makabe and Yano, as like a proper tag team. And they got into a three-way brawl. And I should also preface that Yuto and Makabe have been having on and off brawls for the entire tournament because, you know, they're often compared to each other. So somehow, some way or another, we're getting a number one contenders match for the tag titles at Battle Line Hokkaido between the KOB and, again, the fucking most violent players in 2026. So, what the hell? But that's cool. I think Makabe, at least, and I like Yano's shtick too, but I still like Makabe's, the King Kong shtick and his brawling. I think he can be good, and I'm excited to see him get at least one fun match on kind of a lesser important tour. I don't mind stuff like this at all.
2009 remains undefeated.
Yeah. I mean, if they're still going to be on the roster, why not, have them do something like this sometimes? I'm not for, them just only doing preview tags forever. Then also on the Battle Line Hokkaido portion of the tour at a little show in Sapporo, we've got a Yo versus Ishimori junior title defense. I think Ishimori must have pinned him or something. I didn't watch all the undercard. And then we've got another El Desperado and Mystico versus Doki and Show match because there are no other tag teams in the junior division. And then moving on to Destruction properly, we've got 5 matches on the docket. That is an all-star trios match between Aaron Wolf, Yuya Omura, and Taichi versus Oiwa, Big Jag, and Kosei Fujita. So that sounds fucking fire. Very much looking forward to that. Then we've got the special singles match between Jeff Cobb and Callum Newman that I just alluded to. Then we've got the Shun Skywalker versus Konosuke Takeshita for the New Japan Pro Wrestling World TV Championship. And then we have a match and build I've kind of overlooked, actually, but it started in that first match for theirs in the tournament. Drilla Maloney versus Gabe Kidd. The War Dogs clash for the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. Do yourself a favor, and I don't think it reads well to just sort of go over a promo segment, especially something as like Freeform is a Japanese backstage promo segment on air. But do yourself a favor and go look up the backstage comments that they had after the final, because it was really some of the best like New Japan promo work you'll see of the year, and I know that doesn't come along rarely, but they had a very intense encounter, which I think you should all go see, especially those War Dogs heads that are still left. Then we have Tsuji versus Hiroki Goto is the first person that beat him in the G1 to make claim for a title shot. So yeah, that is the Road to Destruction, and the winner of that title match will go on to face Ryohei Oiwa, the G1 Climax champion, once again back in Ryogoku at King of Pro Wrestling 2026, because I think they might just make that permanent instead of the Wrestle Kingdom thing. And then also, as one little thing to end on, there's some like beastly 6 foot, 200 something pound new young lion that is apparently from Sumo.
Yes,
so
I've heard
Cooper,
of this boy.
You might end up, you haven't watched him. I'm sure he didn't go very far.
No, he's like lower than the lowest possible rank that you could get. Okay. But yeah.
And on the New Japan website, it says he started Sumo in high school and then managed to compete at the national level. So managed is that's not a great adjective.
No. But who knows? He could be the next Tenryu. He could be the next Koji Katao.
All right, cool. We'll have to wait and see. New Japan hour is over, and I will not have much to talk about because we are on a 3-week-long hiatus after this. I think I told Logan this. You know what? Fuck it. How about this? I'm going to vacate the title if I don't watch just these next 2 Dynamites. So it should be that because I want to be able to talk about something on the road to All In.
He'll fuck it up somehow.
I can't promise I'll watch Collision, but I will watch these last 2 Road 2 shows. Or these
before we close this out. So next week, obviously the August 30th, Cooper will be gone.
Yes.
But this last week is the last one, and all we really have is Dynamite and Collision of the docket and predictions. So do we want to spell it out here and do one last retro next week? Maybe spitball some ideas, go to the fans, find something, something to talk about. What's a topical topic right now? Yeah. What's something? I don't really want to do a G1 thing because me and Jack are going to be watching an ungodly amount of G1 matches for the Tinzon retro. We're doing.
I mean, yeah, like so not the Tinzon, but you
announcements that Cooper slandered me. I want to say for the record that I said we would be covering women's matches. Will be Women's Wrestling Month after All In, which will be yes. You go back to the recording. You go back to the tapes. You'll find what I said. We're doing 3 women's wrestling retros during that month. What should we do? You got any ideas, Coop? Or wait, you picked the last one. Jack,
I did.
Picked the one before that.
So it's up to you, man.
Yeah. Spin the wheel, make the deal.
I think it might be time.
Please don't pick that one.
I think it might be time.
I'm trying to influence you.
It might be time for me, because you guys live in Auburn. I could watch one of these Florida independent promotions once that I bought a while ago for the Roderick Strong, Eric Stevens thing that hasn't been seen. I could watch this week and then give you guys one of these and make you guys watch it together before the next pod. Or we could,
You could do that.
Could do that. Or we could watch the Action Mike Jackson tape all together.
Ooh, now you're speaking my language.
Maybe we'll do the Mike Jackson. I don't know. I'll figure it out by Wednesday. But all right, boys. I think that's it. Did we talk about the Tinson retirement match? Did I just blank out during that?
No, we didn't. I actually purposefully didn't.
You wanted to save it.
I haven't been.
Oh, you haven't watched it? Oh my God!
I'm going to. I take it very seriously, but Oh my god!
Dude, I knew. You know
I'm going
what?
to
I
watch it.
knew it because when I looked at the New Japan World, I'm like, huh. Jack must have watched like the whole 2-hour segment and not watched.
I didn't have time. Bro.
He didn't
I had
have
to get
5
the-
minutes.
Yeah, it
He
was
didn't have
literally-
5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen.
No, look, Cooper, you don't know because they
Yeah,
didn't do
Tenzon
it.
comes
They did
out,
longer.
right? And he goes, 5-minute time, my tail, give me, as
He said,
F that,
"Fuck
we're gonna
that."
do as long as they want. So they went like not,
Let's
they went like
go!
9 minutes. But, it wasn't
Yes,
But
that's
still,
right.
they didn't do the 5 minutes.
like, yeah.
Dude, he's so cool.
Yep. He came out, he had absolutely, like, literally no knees. I mean, that man could barely move. But he did hit some Mongolian chops. The crowd was super into it. He had the Young Lions with a shirt to come out. It's very moving to see him try, Well, I mean, man, that his body was cooked. It's a level of cooked. I mean, he was like one step above Dory Funk in that match, brother.
Yeah, dog.
Yeah,
It's
rough.
rough. It's rough roll.
I will say, I make sure I'm pronouncing this right. Takashi Izuka? Who am I?
Yeah, Izuka. Yeah.
Yeah, he came out after the match because Tenzon put out in the media that he wanted him to like settle, like, this is it. It's over. We need to settle our differences. And so Izuka came out, like, the match is over. They're about to do the ceremony. His music hits. The commentators are freaking out. He comes in. He starts beating up Tenzon immediately.
Yes.
Kojima hits him with a Koji cutter. He goes to set up for Tenzon to hit one last tombstone. And Tenzon goes, no. Like, thank you, but no. And he's pleading. But this is kind of basically like, come to your senses. This is it. This is it for me. There's no more match. There's nothing left. Let's move on. Shake my hand. And, like, the crowd's super into it. He's shaking his head. He's like, no. Finally. They shake each other's hands. He walks out of the ring. He goes to grab the commentator and rips off his shirt and walks away. He had to still stay a bad lad, but it was pretty awesome. I don't know. It felt right, for him to retire on a G1 show. And they had a whole ceremony afterwards with like Pride alumni and rings, and Hiroshi Hase was there, Fujinami, Rikichosu, and Chono came to the ring, and at one point they someone held Tenzon and Chono got a slap in or something like that. It was pretty awesome. They had Chono on commentary, I think, too.
Cool.
But it was fun. I'm sure we'll get into it more when, actual New Japan fan Jack Rhodes Dudley actually watches the damn match. And, we'll cover it on the Tenzon special. But I was like, I don't feel like he mentioned this. And I was wondering, I'm like, he didn't watch this either. The day we get Jack to watch the Tenzon match and Cooper to watch the G1 final, it's going to be a great day for the pod. When Cooper begrudgingly goes through some New Japan matches for his end of the year list in December, and he's like, guys, that Oiwa Uemura match, pretty good. We're gonna be like, yeah.
That'll be my last ditch effort to catch up on all of wrestling from the year.
You do it every year.
I'll be so exhausted by the end of it. I'll be like, yeah, it was pretty good.
But let's wrap this up in 3, 2, 1. Thank you for listening to Strongest Style, a pro wrestling podcast. That has been it from me, Cooper, and Jack. But you can find this show on every one of your podcast players of choice: Apple, Spotify, YouTube. If you're listening on YouTube, you should like and subscribe. You can also follow us on social media at Strongest Style. You can follow me at Logan Hurston. You You can follow Jack at Average Dark. Cooper doesn't have any social media, but Cooper, any last words?
I like my G1s action-packed.
You like your G1s in one style, brother. Yeah, the art! Oh, we will see you guys later with more N1 updates. Goodbye, mwah, and good night. Bang!